could be with anyone, you're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around, but
You could be with anyone, and I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on, people? Before we get started, per usual, and especially after last week, you're going to keep it all the way a buck. Now we see why James asked for the ones in the chat to make sure that you can see me and you can hear me. Because last week during the Speak Pipe Live, we had a few mishaps, and I don't want to repeat those. You know, as they say, a wise man should learn from his mistakes. So I see some ones jumping in the chat. Thanks, Lizzie B. Appreciate you. Lizzie B in the house. Everything's check. Awesome. Welcome to the show, guys. Tonight, I had a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about with regard to sister wives, and there's some of it where I think that I want to try to I'm gonna package it into some standalone videos, because I started to think about what I was going to say, and I was like, you know what, this would actually make a good video. There's enough meat on the bones to where we could actually have some real conversation. And one of the video, there's a couple video topics that I'm going to be dropping. So make sure if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, tonight is the night. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button first and foremost. Everybody's in the house. Give me that like. Let a player know. We're going to let the room fill up a little bit. But as we move into this week, I've already started prepping things so that I have videos coming out on a more consistent basis. I'm actually trying to set it up so that I have a couple videos coming out a day, which is, it's going to be a little more time intensive, but, we get it done. And so I had 2 videos drop just this weekend. I had the Kody video drop that came out on Friday, I think it was. Then Saturday, I did a video on the throuple couple, which appears on 90 Day Fiancé. We're going to get into the whole tell-all stuff as we move forward, because there's a lot of stuff to pull apart. And that, then we're also going to be talking about, I also did a video on Rob. Now, the video that I did on Rob, he's one of the people, they have a new show, 90 Day Fiancé, where they bring back some of the old cast. They have a new show called Hunt for Love, where they get a lot of the divorcee people or people who are separated from their 90 Day Fiancé castmates. They put them on an island. Or actually, I think they just took them to Mexico, which they're doing a lot of filming in Mexico lately. And a lot of the stuff is just kind of ridiculous. I think it's just cheaper to film down there for them. So they get some nice places, and it's just easier for them to fly people down there as opposed to paying for people to be up here. So, yeah, they flew them all down there. Now, there was an interesting thing that I think happened with the gentleman, Rob. We watched him. He was married to a British woman, and they're separated now. And he was kind of a jackass then. But he ran into this young lady. I call her the yacht girl, or the yachty with the body, because that's what she portrays herself as. Right? She was a Miami yacht party girl, but she was a model. And he came out and he did one of the things that I particularly find is kind of a pet peeve. Right? You always have the guy who gets involved with these young ladies, even Kody Brown. Let's keep it all the way a buck. Kody Brown did the same shit. You get involved with these women, then you're getting everything you can get from them. You're doing everything you want to do to them, right? You're getting paid off of them, right? For the most part, getting time and attention or whatever it is you seek. Then the second you hit a rocky patch with them, or the things don't work out, or things start to get a little difficult, all of a sudden she crazy. She out of damn mind, yo. I don't know what's wrong with her, because clearly I'm the victim in this situation, because I was compelled to deal with somebody who is completely insane, and I don't understand why this has to work this way. It must be a woman thing. I don't know what's wrong with them. My point is simply this. One, they are who they are when you meet them. If you are supposed to be a guy who frequents a lot of women. Like Rob is supposed to be one of these 90-day fiance bad boys. Like that's a little brand that they trying to run out now. If you've been around women like that, Kody, I've been around. I got 3 wives. I know all about women. I got daughters. I know all about women. It always amazes me that these guys who know so much about women know so much about actually dealing with women. Let me say that one more again. These guys who supposedly have an expertise in dealing with women oftentimes know so little about actually dealing with women and how to actually get through to them, talk to them, communicate with them. I know, talk to them like they people. Surprise, surprise. I wish I had my little cue, like surprise, surprise. I wish I had that queued up because that always kind of trips me out. But one of the things that I've always said is that, especially if you're the kind of guy who is popular with women or popular with people, guy, girl, whatever, you know that you have something unique. That's a unique thing for you to be able to go out and be with people, not at will, but, you can kind of push situations. That's a unique situation for the most part. And you have to recognize the power, because with great power comes great responsibility. And part of that responsibility is evaluating and assessing the people that you're going to spend time with. If you're going to take your time and you're going to spend your time, your dime, your energy, and your life fluid, copy button, if you're going to spend that on a person, then at least take the time to make sure that person is worthwhile. Make sure that you're in a position where you understand who it is you messing with. And as far as like Rob saying that he was with this woman and she's so crazy and she's nuts because he hooked up with her on the first night. For those who don't know, this the Yachty with the body girl. The reason I call her that, she, upon the first meeting of these guys, she tells the guys that she's talking to, like a room full of guys, that she's a yacht part Miami model. A model from Miami who parties on yachts, which to people in the know, that basically means you're not on the yacht because you have a lot of money and you own the yacht. You're on the yacht for entertainment. At that point, and this is very degrading and I understand that, but at that point, when you are a model in that situation, guy or girl, whatever, and you get on a boat because you look good and you're appealing, you are a source of entertainment. There's literally no difference between you and the pool table. Okay? There's no difference. Like, you guys are there for entertainment. You're like the TV. They can flip you on and flip you off. And if they don't like you, they just change the channel. That's how it works. So when she says she's a model, that's kind of what that means. But then she goes around the whole party or whatever, and she starts to express that she's open to a lot of experiences. We'll say she frequents the she frequents the bourgeois, as they say, and they get to a point where between her and Rob, she actually asks him on the first night that they met. They maybe been talking for like an hour, 2 hours. She says to him, "Do you want to kiss me?" And Rob, of course, says, because he's a dork and desperate, he says, "Yeah, I do." And she said, "Yeah, but if you want to kiss me, first, you got to ask to see my butt." What? What the shit? What? So now I got to do something that's actually degrading in order to degrade you. Awesome. So it's like a degrading double scoop, if you will. So she does this whole thing where first she gets up in the middle of the bar and she has like a little sundress wrap on. And she hikes that wrap up and she got the little thong drawers on and she's shaking her tail feathers for Rob, who is sitting there, and it's not even like he's off in the corner somewhere. He's in the middle of the bar. She's shaking her button in the middle of the bar, and everybody behind him can see exactly what he's saying. So she's advertising for everybody. Then she get on the couch. They hook up a little bit, play the tonsil hockey. Go back to the room. She goes back to her room. The cameras leave. He invite her back, the whole thing. And then the next day, she wants to hook up with Rob because now she has feelings and she has deep feelings for him. And he has his eye on somebody else. And I go into the video about like the person he has his eye on and why. It's only like a 5-minute video. But she does this whole thing where she flips out on him and she gets upset because he's making these kind of choices. And this is where it kind of comes into like responsibility for everybody. She's responsible for herself. Girlfriend, no dude don't care about you. And as I said in the video, just this little teaser, you know, I if I could speak to her, I would just simply say this. What I've told my daughter, like in young ladies that I've known, even when I was a younger dude. If you want to have a real relationship with a man, don't come in and make yourself a sexual vending machine where he can get whatever he wants. And the thing is, with vending machines, they're a source of convenience. Like nobody makes plans to go to the damn vending machine. Like nobody is sitting at their house about to leave their house to go to work, pass a bunch of stores and stuff, and be like, nah, I'm gonna save my money because I want to get some of that delicious food out the vending machine. No, vending machines are there for comfort. They're there for convenience. And if you lower yourself to a point where you're just there for comfort and convenience and you offer a little variety of things, assortment of things that you're willing to do with this dude, he's not looking for you. You know, and it's just a matter of one of the things that like I've always said, and I've always felt like this, regardless of I say it to my daughters, I say it to my son. But at the end of the day, when my daughter, especially giving her that game, like just the way the game works, look, I can't speak how women feel about stuff. But I can say from a male's perspective, as a dude and as a person, a man who's been around men my whole life, I'm telling you right now, 99.9% of men respect you as much as you respect yourself. They respect you as much as you respect yourself. If you're willing to disrespect yourself, they are willing to ride with you right down to that disrespectful lane. They willing to go on their street, bang on all the doors. They want to disrespect you as much as you're willing to allow them to disrespect you, and as much as you demonstrate to them that you're willing to disrespect yourself. And that's one of the things that I talk about in that particular video. So I'm a little excited about it. So hopefully people get a chance to check it out. Yeah, but that's one of the like, so you know, it's just like some of the things that I want to talk about on the reality shows, and this is where like kind of getting back to the root of it. I didn't just start it to recap shows. I wanted to actually talk about like certain things that I see in these shows, and that, you know, 90 Day gives me an opportunity to do that. Sister Wives give me an opportunity to do that. So that's what I'm doing for moving forward. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of different shows. There's another show called I just found out. I was sitting down with my eating dinner with my daughter and my wife earlier. My son was upstairs, but they were telling me that they have a new show called Family or Fiance. I used to review it before, but I might do a couple videos on that. So look forward to those if they turn out interesting. The one episode I started to watch with them, because we were excited about saying, I was like, let's check out the first one. The first one, y'all, they got third cousins. And when I say family or fiance, it's just basically you have a couple that's engaged and they have to try to convince their family or friends that they should get married and then make the choice. It might come down to a choice. Do you choose your family or do you choose your fiance? This couple that they got on there now, they met at a family funeral, okay? Which is always like a if you start talking about your relationship and how that started, the origins of your relationship, and you say we met at any family function, that's usually a bad start. Okay. And as it turns out, they're like third cousins. And they talking about they gonna have a relationship. Dude don't have a relationship with his kids. This whole shit is a mess, y'all. And I'm gonna review it. It's on Discovery right now. It's called Family or Fiance, episode 1, season 4, episode 1. Guys, well, there's gonna be plenty to talk about on that. Rule number 1, you know what I mean? Without it being said, one of the things that my parents and my mom have always instilled in us, there are too many damn people in the world for you to be trying to date family, y'all. You know. Yeah, you know what, Southern Dawn, I can't get in 90 days. They got too many of them. You know what? I agree. And that's one of the struggles that I have because even with like the hunt for love thing that I did the video on, I'm actually falling behind on that one because damn brush fell into the trash. I actually fell behind on that one because so much of it is like they're struggling to make content with people and they're trying to regurgitate and recycle cast members from the past and bring them back, and it's just they just have like right now they have two 90-day shows on. One is about to end and I'm sure they're about to roll another one out, so it is a lot. I do agree it's a lot to keep up with, but that's why I'm here. I mean, I'm gonna try to pull the interesting storylines. Some of the storylines are fake as hell. I'm about to say something else, but some of the storylines are fake as hell. Clearly, this is one I try to watch. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. If you guys are interested in that, I want to get run a little poll. Let me ask you guys. Messing up. I want to run a little poll because I'm curious if you guys would be interested in Secret Lives of Mormon. I think I spelled that wrong. Mormon Wives. Yeah, I started watching that show because I thought it might be interesting. This young crowd and the stuff they have going on, but it just seems so like I try to get through it. I just dropped a poll up, so if you guys can answer that. I said, should I review Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Would you guys be interested in that? But so much of it just seems so fake, freaking fake. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I noticed like in all their confessions, and it's starting to get like that on all the TLC shows too, where basically it's just an advertisement for whatever thing they have going on. So it's yeah, it's just too much going on all the time. Like this one is arguing with that one, and no matter what's happening during the confessionals, they're always like, yeah, because we're with Mom Talk and I want to be with Mom Talk, and Mom Talk is all about motivating and empowering women and making sure we hit the sexual revolution that we deserve, because Mom Talk is all about it, and that's what we love about Mom Talk. Mom Talk, Mom Talk, Mom Talk. Then you had women who quit Mom Talk and then came back to Mom Talk and they want to get back in, but they can't because Mom Talk is so important and so valuable because it's a bunch of us and it's a sisterhood and we support one another. And then they spend the next 40 minutes cutting each other down, stabbing each other in the back, and being the worst possible friends ever. Like, and it's just like the conundrum of how they do a lot of the reality shows. So yeah, like it's just you choose to do these shows and you want to bring forth like light on a certain subject, whether it's polygamy, sister wives, polyamory, seeking sister wives, seeking brother husbands, polyandry, plural relationships, ethical non-monogamy, whatever the case may be, 90-day fiance. They're trying to run those things out, competing. I think the way they're doing it, TLC is actually trying to use 90-day fiance to replace sister wives, because sister wives they feel like is coming to a close. So, and of course, polyfamily didn't work. But the more they produce these shows, the less attractive these lifestyles are because of the people that they cast. Like, these people are terrible. Like, there's no way they shouldn't be in love with anybody. But it's just but Mormon Lives, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. There's a couple points that I wanted to hit on that I thought were interesting. Like, there's one person who started the show. She's actually has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is her boyfriend, she breaks up with him because she still has a lot of baggage from her previous marriage that she's bringing into this relationship. And she breaks up with him and she's just holding stuff over his head, but she's still sleeping with him. And just talking about like the refusal to let go. And that's something that we see in Sister Wives. There was one scene where they invited a guy over to the house so that they could basically kick him out of the house. And then one of the wives went up and basically lied on the guy and said, yeah, he down there, he put his hands on me. And her husband comes running out with his friend up on this dude. Now, let me tell you something. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. But just from my perspective, I'm a grown-ass man, Doc. If I'm leaving a party, like I get in an argument with somebody, male, female, whatever, man, woman, child, whatever. I'm arguing with somebody and I leave. And as I'm leaving, somebody from the party, especially if it's the owner or whoever, comes out of the party. He starts hollering my name. Yo, James, hold up. And him and his buddy come running up on my ass. And like they were supposed to be taking their shirt off. They had their shirts off because they were supposed to be doing a Chippendale dance to mess somebody else's relationship up, because one of the girls confided that her husband wasn't comfortable when they went to Chippendales. So, of course, being friends, they said, come over to my house. I'm going to have my husband come over and rub his junk in your face. That's clear. With your husband sitting right there. Clearly, that's going to show that he's he's mentally advanced and ready to deal with a mom, right? So these two dudes come running out, hollering this guy's name, running up on him, no shirts. That's all I would have had to see. They would have got within 5 feet of me, and it would have been, I would have brought down fire on their ass. Like, there's no way in the world you gonna run up on me with no shirt on, hollering my name like you agitated, and you got a problem. Then you come flying up in my face talking about you put your hands on my wife. Dude, I'm laying your ass out. Like, there's no way in the world you getting that. I shouldn't even talk like this. I'm gonna give you flowers because we don't condone violence. But it's just a crazy, dangerous situation. It's a crazy, dangerous situation. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, just the fact of like grown folk and grown folk talk. When you get involved with these types of relationships and your wife or your lady is looking out for you and she's a partner, she's a teammate, she's on your side, she ride or die, that person would never put you in a situation where you going out and compromising yourself and your family and everything that you guys built behind something stupid. She might tell you when you get in a car, you know what I mean? Especially if it's something like, all dude did was walk past her and be like, hey, where's your husband at? Because he was leaving. I guess he wanted to say bye to him. Right? And she go run her ass upstairs because she want to be in the thick of the drama. And she tell her husband that dude down there laying his hands on her. And the husband get all worked up and run out there. That is crazy. That is crazy to me. Because you're putting your husband in jeopardy. Because if he run up on, look, trust me when I say, look, I'm going to say this real slow. If you run up on the wrong damn one, okay? You run up on the wrong one, or should I say the right one? You got the right one, baby. You hit the fisticuff lottery up in that jaw. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. And I'm not even I don't want to try to glamorize fighting, because fighting is so unpredictable, especially street fights. So unpredictable and so dangerous. It's crazy. You could be an expert martial artist, boxer, whatever, go out and fight somebody who is a complete novice, step off the curb wrong and hit your head and you gone. You get caught wrong with the right punch or at the right timing or whatever, you get hit wrong, you gone. You hit somebody else wrong. You come running out of the house. You get to pushing and shoving on this guy. He fall down. He hit his head and he gone. You going to jail. Okay? You going to prison. And then your wife and your kids get to come up and talk to you through glass for the next 10 to 15 years. You understand what I mean? Like, it's dumb shit like that. It's that and then you talk to the two guys. Oh, I guess I'm doing a video now. You talk to the two guys, and they're sitting there doing the whole, I'm trying to defend my woman. And that ain't going down on my watch. All that tough Tony shit. Look, you grown ass men. These guys are about as old as I am. You grown ass men. What you out there trying to fight somebody for over something stupid like that? You ready to throw away your whole life because some guy was walking past your wife? And I would have to hard check my lady if she was sitting there talking about this dude did something to her, and I go back and watch the tape, like, that guy ain't even touch you. What are you talking about? Like, you put me in jeopardy. I've always said this, especially when it comes to my daughter, anybody. Look, if you say something to me, integrity is so important, because if you say something to me, I want to be able to act and react based off of what you say. Okay? I want to be able to act and react off based off what you say. Matter of fact, we're going to bring back something. Story time. I remember there was one time, y'all, and this is why I'm talking about a partner. Doesn't always work, right? There was one time, my daughter and my wife, my daughter was, I think she was about 15, 16 at the time. They went to a store, right? And while they were in line at the store, my daughter standing there, she's not one of them hoochie mama joints. She dressed very conservatively. Like, my daughter dressed very conservative. But she's developing, right? She was developing at the time into, she had womanly curves, we'll say. This guy, who's old as me, was sitting there staring at my daughter to the point where she felt uncomfortable. And my wife noticed it. My daughter noticed it. I think my wife said something to him. They came home, and my daughter came in. She was crying. She was upset, right? And yeah, man, she was upset. So I'm like, what happened? And they told me. Now, this is what I'm talking about, ride or die. When my wife told me, she said, James, this what happened. We was in line. Dude was staring at her, looking her up and down and stuff. It made her feel a certain kind of way, right? I said, okay, where were you at? And she said, James, don't you take your ass over there. I handled it. I said, okay, cool. All right, cool. And then at that point, I said, I waited about 5 minutes. I said, I'll be right back. Got my car, drove my ass right over to that store. I did. Went right over to that store. Dude was a cashier in a line. I won't forget. I can still see his face. And I'm standing there. He had a line in his cashier, y'all. I was standing there waiting in line for his ass. Yes, I did. I was standing there waiting my ass right there in line. Very patiently. Very patiently. He's doing his job. And I'm not interrupting your job. I walk up there. I got shit in my hands. He get to me. And I say, yo, man, like, let me tell you something. I was like, my daughter was in here today. You were staring at her. And I want to let you know that I'm her father. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something else. And he was scared as shit because I was hot as hell. And this is one of them situations. This is why I say that you got to be able to trust your people. And it's a significant, and what I did was probably bad advice, but it's one of them things where it could have went left quick. Because if he would have said something, the mindset I was in, if he'd have said the wrong shit, it would have popped off. We would have got that, we'd have tore that store up. We would have tore that damn store up. Right? But he was scared. And he said, he said, look, I said, my ass. I told him, I said, look, I'm her father, and I'm gonna let you know she got somebody in her life that will show up for her. Show up and show out. Understand this when I tell you this. And I was hot, dude. And he could feel that energy. I was hot. I'm still kind of mad about it. Still a little mad about it. And I told him, I said, look, man, I'm going to tell you straight up. And like his manager come over, is there a problem? No, there ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. Is there a problem, sir? And no. Yeah, no, we cool. We just having a conversation. I'm telling you right now in front of your manager, please understand this. Now, everybody out here, that you looking at and you staring at, and you making them feel uncomfortable, you making them feel like they less than, you making them feel like they don't deserve to have a space or be able to move in their skin in this place. You need to understand that people got people at home. You don't know who they got at home. And not everybody is going to come in here and talk to you as politely as I'm talking to you. Some people come in and they do things to you. And I'm going to be honest. If he would have caught my ass, look, like I say, I'm a work in progress, y'all. If he would have caught my ass maybe 10 years prior, I'd have been that one. I'd have been that one. Because what you're not going to do, you're not going to, like, as much as, and I don't be that guy, but look, as much as women have to put up with in this world, just moving in their skin, they don't need no bullshit from some dude because he feel like he got a little bit of power and he could do whatever he want to do. And what's not going to happen is you're not going to make her feel like that, feel uncomfortable, like she can't walk into a store or buy something in the store because out of fear of how somebody going to look at her, treat her, and talk to her. That we're not doing that. We're not doing that, sir. And I talked to him for a little bit. We made some promises. He apologized. I said, don't apologize to me, mother. You better apologize to yourself. And hopefully you don't have to apologize to the next one. I went on home. And then I had to explain to my wife was on my back. She's like, why you go over there? I told you I had look, you do what you do, and I'm gonna do what I do. What you do ain't got nothing to do with me. I just went to the store. I had to get something. You know what I'm saying? What you had to get? I had to get a cut of his ass if he didn't. I'm telling you, man. Like, but that's the whole thing. Like, I got to be able to move based on what you come home and tell me. Now, if I'd have got home and it wouldn't have been nothing, like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. We got the whole thing on tape. He just showed up. He just got here. I don't know why they telling you these stories, because I guess they looking for attention. That would have hurt me to my heart, because you put me in a situation where, like, I'm ready to go do somebody harm because of something that you said. And then to find out that you put me in a situation where I'm taking all kinds of risks and I'm putting myself in all kinds of jeopardy, and just to find out that you was trying to, make a storyline or be cute or whatever the hell. Look, that's the kind of thing. Like, and if you were a lady or a dude, that every time you go out, you gotta scrap or squabble with somebody because this woman is trying to hit on me. Girl, you need to get over and check her because she's trying to come up. Then that's probably somebody who ain't good for you, because you can't build a future with that kind of person. You know what I mean? But yeah, my man was like, you don't understand, like, bro, you don't understand how like, things can happen to you. Like, if you stand here in the middle of this, at the front of this store, you vulnerable as hell. Like, bro, don't do yourself like this, because I will dog walk your ass out here. Like, please don't do that. All right. So we back to sister wife. And then, guys, I started to do some sister wives talking points for the night. And I gotta tell you, I started getting my sister wife talking point. I'm like, these has got to be videos, because there's some things I want to talk about this week. I'm talking about that bullshit lie that Robyn and Kody didn't know each other and how that was ridiculous. I'm gonna be talking about how the dynamics and relationship levels of you being in these types of relationships, like especially the polygamous people, and how they have like the whole lie that they told. We pulling that whole thing apart. We're gonna have to break it down, like how it's just crazy that they told these lies and why they told these lies. Part of the reason why they told the introduction story of Robyn into the family the way that they did was because they were trying to sell it to us. They had dumbed down polygamy to us to make it more acceptable, make it more palatable. So they told us essentially that the wives, Mary was the one who introduced us. It was Mary's fault. She's the one that brought it in. And it goes back to an old doctrine that I found from that talks about the AUB principles and why that doctrine is utter bullshit. Like, why it doesn't work. Like, you got to ask permission. Like, ask permission from who? The husband? You mean the guy who controls all the money? Does what he wants. The patriarch. I got to ask. I'm giving the patriarch permission. Show you right. So we're going to be talking about that. There's a lot of stuff. I got a lot of things planned. But yeah, it should be a good time. All right. Oh, let's check this. Do a quick check on a poll. Should I review Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? So far, 47% said yes. The majority said no. No. Yeah, it's you know what? Secret Lives, Sister Wives, that it's been out for a little while now, the whole season. They're on their second season. They're probably shooting their third by now. And I'm gonna be honest, like it's a hard watch. Like I think I have 2, maybe 3 episodes left, and it's kind of hard to watch. It's just hard to palate it. Like some of the reality shows, I'm gonna be honest, like you can sit down and watch it, you can binge it. Some of these are just like the storylines are always kind of questionable in most reality shows, let's be honest. But the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives storylines, like some of them are just like, what the shit are we talking about? Like you had one girl, like forget her name, but she left the group and she blazed out. She was like, basically, screw you guys, I don't need you. I'm make my own money. I got my own brand deals. Brr, brr, brr. Then she got out there in the cold, cruel world. Nobody gave a shit about you. And now she back. I'm trying to rejoin Mom Talk. Mom Talk, Mom Talk, Mom Talk. Because we support each other. But none of you are friends. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. What's this? So if you don't like it, probably I've never seen it. Yeah, it's on Hulu, Disney Plus. It's decent. Oh, you know what? I also want to dig into a little bit of the book where we talk about, because there's a lot of stuff we got to peel back that whole onion of the meeting, like, and why it was so ridiculous, how it's sold to us back then to how it's sold now. So I have a bunch of videos I have planned to come out. I also want to do, guys, we also have to do a side-by-side comparison between an old HBO show called Big Love and Sister Wives. Okay, Big Love and Sister Wives, because so many story elements from Big Love actually appears in Sister Wives. Like the idea of like the surrogate mom. That was the Bill Paxton's third wife. Bill Paxton is the guy who played the patriarch. His third wife was talking about being a surrogate. And all of a sudden, Robyn says she wanted to be a surrogate for Mary. The need to get divorced and marry one of the other wives so that you could claim the kids. That obviously happened. Robyn with her kids, Kody divorced and married. There was an element where they were talking about adding another wife to the religion or to the family. And they had to go through the whole permission schedule per usual. But you had one of the wives who was very excited about bringing her friend in, because this woman was going to be more of her friend of all the sister wives. So she was actually going to be her friend and a sister wife, and she was very excited about it. She helped to facilitate it because she was so excited about it. Where have we heard that before? That would be Mary and Robyn. So, I mean, there's a lot of elements that I think we can look at and say that, this is what they were trying to do. And plus, I have a big revelation that I want to talk about with regard to the main character of Big Love, to how Kody tried to present himself, because I think it's very interesting. But what is Big Love on? Big Love is on HBO. It's a HBO Max show. You can see it on HBO. But again, if you don't have HBO, don't worry about it. You can still participate, because I'm gonna try to make it as descriptive as possible as I'm going through it, so that way everybody can see it. Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I want to do. Oh yeah, Ty, thank you so much, Ty. What's going on? I got your email too. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can delve into with regard to Sister Wives. No, yeah, there's man. I got so much stuff. Y'all got to check it out. It'll be over the next couple weeks, because there's so many ideas that I have that I want to try to put into place. And I'm coming to a position where I'm going to be able to put out a lot more content. So make sure you subscribe so that way you get notified as I'm dropping like these videos. Because in some cases, hopefully I'm be able to drop like anywhere from like 2 to maybe 3 videos a day. So if I can get my scheduling right, and I think I got it nailed down. So we shall see, y'all. Yeah, but I'm gonna let's see. I'm trying to pay attention to like 4 or 5 different things, but I'm gonna drop the. Here's the link. We're gonna do sorry guys, I'm like stuttering and stuff. But we're gonna do some things. And I'm gonna just ask that we keep it to 2 minutes because I gotta do some things with my wife later. And I'm trying to respect her time as well. You know, the brother man ain't trying to get divorced. Like, I ain't trying to be like Kody, sit up here crying. No dang old woman. Why they always leave when you mistreat them? It's like they have their own minds or something. Which, be very careful. And that maybe I don't know, but that's worth a video or not. But just real quick, one of the things that's concerning to me, like I've always said that, like one of the dangers of like somebody in Kody Brown's situation, the way he's presented on television and the way what we know about him. One of the things that I find to be disturbing is the fact that in most cases like that, it's not just him. Like, his belief system isn't just he's the only one and he's the nasty one and he's the bad apple in the bunch. The reality of it is that it's very possible that he comes from a community and from a friend group, or the people that he surrounds himself with are people who believe the same thing he believes and approach life the same way he does. So they have the same mores. So when he says stuff, like a lot of the stupid ass lies that they told on the show are things that would make sense in a friend group that was extremely supportive of you and didn't really question anything you said or anything like that. You understand what I mean? So your friend group influences you that way. The reason I bring that up is that one of the things that he had said starting in season 17 was he started talking about, like, even before that, he was hitting a lot of the Manosphere points. But in season 17, he admitted that he was consuming a lot of Manosphere content, whether on YouTube or whatever social media thing he's on. And one of the things that's disturbing to me is that group has shifted to make it more predominantly in their belief system that women shouldn't be allowed to ask for divorces. Like, you get married and you're tied to that man. And it sounds like, oh, well, you're tied and you're going to make your relationship work. That would be the surface side of it. The downside of it is you're tied to that man, and no matter what he does to you, you can't leave. But at the same time, you don't have any rights over his assets or resources, because any asset or resource that is acquired in the confines of the marriage belong to him and are under his control. So therefore, when he says we can't get divorced, like Christine and Janelle, y'all can't leave me, it's not just the fact that they can't leave, but they have to continue to contribute to him. And I would like to use the euphemism, the family or the big picture, but realistically, it's him. You're supporting him. You're taking care of him. And if he's saying that you can't leave me, no matter how bad I treat you, and you have to support me and my kids and my wife and her kids, and this, you can't do it without question, that becomes problematic. So that's something that, at some point, I think I'm going to have to actually drill down, and we're going to have a real conversation about it, because I think that, of a lot of stuff that the Manosphere guys talk about, I think that that's at the core or the root of what makes that whole movement so dangerous, destructive, and it just unravels young men's and corrupts young men's minds, and it has that potential to corrupt them into thinking that they have an entitlement when it comes to relationships, when it comes to what they can do within in the confines of their relationships and how they can treat their partners. So I think that that's something that, we just have to be, because it's not enough for us to just, hear that there's a group out there talking about this stuff and it just push it or sweep it under the rug and say, oh, we ain't got to worry about that because that's just them. It is problematic. This is very problematic. But yeah. Yeah. Well, let me get to the super chats and then we'll get into the phone calls right away. Let me just make sure my thing is hooked up so I can actually hear you guys, which would be awesome. Like to be able to hear the people who call in. That'd be amazing. Here, folks, hear what y'all got to say. And of course, I can't find none of my stuff. Where is my thing? And I can't find it. Where is? Damn it! I should put it on my better screen. Why is that not working? One more second, guys. And I promise, I'm gonna be better. No. Oh, here it is. Right at the top. Where it always is. I might have give me some thicker glasses, some bifocals, like some binoculars. I tell you what, they say that your eyesight is the first thing to go. I think it's your memory. And if you ask me why, I can't remember. All right, first up, got a super chat from Betty Aldridge. Betty Aldridge, Queen Betty in the house. $5 super chat. Love you. Thank you, Betty. Love you back. Appreciate you. Let me give you a little something. Betty's one of the triple OGs for those that don't know. Yeah, Betty. Up in the house. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, but we'll have some good stuff popping off next week. I know tonight was a little loose form, but we will have in fact, you know what, next week I will put out what the live will be about so you guys will know what it is. It'll be a little more targeted. Oh, we have gifted One My Take on Reality membership. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. Appreciate you. Well, not only a super supportable, one of the mega mods in the house. Let's give Lizzie B a little something. All right. And yeah, we have we'll have the Monday morning motivation come out tomorrow. I won't be talking about something that's actually a little near and dear to my heart tomorrow for the Monday morning motivation, which is kind of where you start, like how your life and the world outside you affects you and how you deal with it. Like you don't have any choice on what happens. So you don't have any control over, who lives, who dies, who comes, who goes, who stays, who doesn't. You don't really get to control that. The only thing you can really control is your attitude, and how you enter into situations is not only important because it can color how you respond to those situations, but it's about levels. If you start off your day, you're beating yourself down and finding every reason why kind of that self-talk video I just did, every reason why you're failing and you're miserable and everything is going wrong and nothing is going right and your life sucks, and you are here when something happens, and trust me, something always freaking happens. Life is like that. Life will find you when you at the highest high or the lowest lows and kick you square in the ass. Like that's just the way life works. Is like the higher you go, the lower you go, the harder life hits you. When you're in that even middle, all of a sudden you get left alone a little bit. But when you're at that high, that low, that's when you get kicked in the ass. But when you're at that low, and you get hit hard, you haven't fortified yourself. So what I find, just my perspective, not even so much advice, but just from my perspective, if you're able to put yourself at a good position as far as your attitude and your mindset, then when things happen, you fortified yourself and you prepared yourself so that you don't fall lower and lower and lower, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you can't feel like you can't get out. And so I'll be talking about that tomorrow, because that is something that I think is important, and it's something that I one of my guiding principles, sharing it with the class. But coming to the stage next, we got Betty Aldridge up in the house. What's going on, Betty? How you
Hi,
doing?
sweetie. How you doing, baby?
Doing
Y'all
well,
behave.
doing well.
Sorry if you hear the dogs. I'm down in Mississippi dog sitting.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
Girl,
So,
yes, I'll talk fast and sound like I'm speaking Spanish at some point because I know I got 2 minutes. But I had to come down here and babysit because my daughter and her fiance had an opportunity to travel, paid
okay.
for by work. She calls and said, "Hey, Mama, can you please come down?" I said, "Girl, you know I am there." So I hopped on my happy ass on the plane, and here I am.
Okay.
The- that's what we do for our kids.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I'm still
That's
looking for
right.
some damn green tomatoes, though. Although but girl, I've been eating some fried pork chops and some deep fried catfish and hush puppies, Southern
Mm,
style.
there you
You
go.
can't get that in Philadelphia. I love you, but you can't get
No,
it
you
in
can't. No,
Philadelphia like you can in Mississippi. And you got to know
no,
how
it's
to
not the
cook it.
same.
Otherwise, it's going to take like some bottom feeders. Well, my thing was like you hit on some things, a lot of what we've been talking about, but I would love to get yours more on, like we're talking about the lies,
Mhm.
but how that you throw a rock in a pond, the ripple effect of, yes, he lied. We all know he lied, but at the time that he was lying, he was bringing in his older children. When you're talking about Maddie, um, I went brain dead. The pregnant one right now, Christine's daughter. Good
Oh,
Lord.
Aspen. Aspen.
That's the one, yes. How they were coming up to babysit. Now, I mean, given that their age at the time was what, 16, 17, probably.
Right.
And within a few years, they were going to be married themselves.
Mm.
And as parents, what they're doing them is like, I would love to know what they're saying because they're not stupid. Those children were not stupid. They know where babies came from at that point. And are they going back and saying, okay, this is what you're going to tell your mother when we get home? And
Right.
and being forced to align sides, they're not. I mean, like the damage done to that you are damaging this child when you are telling these, like, even if you don't outright say this is what we're doing, the pressure put on there, brought to bear, and not just that, but then the resentment that they have to maintain. They're being brought there to watch these children that are not their siblings at this point. Even if they're good kids, there becomes so much pressure put on them. Okay, well, you have to adapt. These are going to be your siblings. You have to treat them a certain way. And it's like, no, they're not. These are, why do I need to come and watch them? These are not my brothers and sisters. And just that amount of responsibility, parentification of children that are
Mm.
not even truly, and I'm not being ugly, but that are truly at that point, not even in the family.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and how much damage that can do. And the lies that are told and brought back, and how that would affect their dynamic, where and then even 5 years in after they're married, they're still looking at those kids and the resentments that can build, maybe not
Right.
even intentionally, but just human nature. I mean, like you see it with step families all the time. I mean, like truly step families where you're overcompensating to make up for it, and then you treat that other child, all of a sudden goes from being here to being on the bottom. Would y'all shut up? Sorry, doggy sitting. What can I say? But I mean, I'm sure you got other people waiting to talk, and I tend to talk a whole lot.
No, I appreciate the
Uh,
call. I appreciate the call. But before you go, I do want to get that oh, there it is. I was trying to find my little notepad. It was on the wrong screen. Um What did you say? Like the ripple effect, throwing a stone in a pond.
Yes, like, and that happens in every family, and not just even in just poly families, but like the step family. When you drop a pebble in the pond, you're gonna have that ripple effect that goes outward.
Right.
And even
Right.
like that, me and Teresa Skinner, she's on vacation. I know we're talking about it, and I really wanted your opinion on it. That something as benign as like how they're talking about the sex stuff. Well, in this day of social media, depending on the type of job you're going for, like my husband has a gaming license,
Mm.
and for him to get because he's a director, for him to get, I know you wouldn't think it looking at me, girl, but for his position, his background check wasn't just background. It literally was an FBI background check that went way back to when he was in high school. And I mean, because they take it that seriously. When you're doing the
Right.
casinos and you carry these licenses, they seriously will take it that damn far back. And like here they are on this show, they're talking stupid shit and not even considering how that may affect their child. Like if their child wants to get a government job and the background checks, that the different shit they say and do can absolutely affect their children's possibility of a future of certain jobs that may be denied because, I mean, they do have a lot of companies now have those where it's like, what you post on social media, what's said about you or what your family says on that, we will take an effect because if that's going to look bad on our company or if this is going to bring bad publicity to our company, if we hire you, it could
Mhm.
absolutely prevent them from getting jobs in the future.
No,
I mean, it
absolutely,
really could.
absolutely.
So, I mean, I talk shit on here, but, well, not too bad. But I would never purposely say something that I would think would hurt my child or say something negative, no matter what my feelings would be. I don't do politics, none of that shit on my Facebook, just simply because my children are professionals and I would not want something I say to reflect badly on them,
Right. Right.
opinion or not.
Well, because with the just real quick, but breaking my own rules. But with the gaming license thing, like part of the reason why they're concerned about like a lot of the they do the checks as extensively as they do, is because if you have something in your past that you might be embarrassed, you might find something embarrassing about
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
having like your sexual exploits out there in the wild, then that could be something that could be used against you in order for you to like you can be extorted, you can be blackmailed, they can force you to do things or maybe rig games or steal
Oh,
money,
yeah.
those kind of things. So that's why they
Oh,
concerned. But like
I
you
know.
said with
I'm
regular
not even
jobs.
allowed to play at the casino because of his position. I can't
Mhm.
play at the casino just
Right,
because
right.
of, and I've worked at the casino. I mean, I was a food and beverage manager at the casino. Even then,
Mm.
like, I mean, you've got to understand that, I mean, like, you got to have some balls sometimes because you got to walk up to somebody your size, and I have, and say, give me that damn beer. You have had enough. You are cut off. And I
Right.
have done it like this. And dare him to say something. I've taken beers out of a grown ass man's hand, threw it in the trash, and let him look at me like I'm stupid. And like, come on, bob and weave, sucker.
Right, right.
So I have to be careful because I do have a bad temper. So like my temperament is not always like I have to bring it down a touch
No, I hear
because
you. I hear you.
But I mean I've worked as a food and beverage supervisor several times in casinos. But even that, like you have to be so careful, like just with even the reflection that you may be doing something untoward, like with your partner or somebody you got to be so careful.
No,
But I say that
absolutely.
because there's also other jobs. It's not just casino jobs. There's government jobs, and
Well,
like
because
somebody that. And some people are like, "Oh, well, they don't even care about that shit anymore." Yes, they do. If they're looking for a reason to terminate you, it can be every other time. They don't say jack shit about it. The one time they're looking to get rid of your ass, they can use that real fast.
right, right. Well, I mean, I think it
And don't
also
think
should
they
be
won't.
noted that when it comes to jobs, like especially the way they do it now, in the new environment that they have as far as like job application. This is why it's so important, especially for young folks and maybe even some of us, folks who are a little more wise and seasoned, that we keep in mind that when you apply for some jobs, they not only want to know whether you have social media, in some cases, they want your passwords. So,
Yeah.
like whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever the case may be, they want your passwords because they want to be able to actually go in to see what it is you're talking about and what's going on those sites. And this isn't like government secured jobs or high profile jobs or, crazy jobs. These are regular old everyday, Joe average jobs that they're doing these things because they recognize that, how many people have we seen, like they talk about cancel culture, but at the end of the day, how many people have we seen, they'll say something 10 years ago on Facebook, like an off-brand comment on Facebook 10 years ago, and it comes to light at some point later, and you get terminated, which also goes into the thing where you got to be careful with who you befriend at your workplace. Maybe that should be a Monday
Oh,
morning
hell yeah.
motivation too. Who you befriend at the workplace, because those will be the people who highlight those clips, those posts or whatever from Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, or whatever, and bring it into the supervisor. And they'd be the ones standing at your desk while they loading your box up so security could walk you out talking about, oh man, they firing you, dog. Oh no, we gonna get together. We gonna stop this. They the one that told on your ass.
That doesn't
Because they
want
the ones that
to.
want your job and they're gonna be sitting at your desk. Like, so
Hell
yeah.
yeah. And I would
Right,
love to,
just watch
like,
it.
I'm fixing to shut up because I know you got people waiting. The one thing I would love, I know you're not doing it this Monday, but speaking of the culture, only because I've ran into it with some people I know, their anxieties in this day and age, like because they get so consumed with watching Fox News, CNN, and that's all they consume, that their
Mhm.
anxiety levels are getting higher and higher and higher, and they don't know where to put that anxiety and
Yeah.
just and how to deal with it in a reasonable fashion. Like for me, I'm sorry, but I may not agree with something, but I'm also not, like I teach my kids. It's like you cannot control everything 24/7 a day, and you can't stop living and live in fear constant. I mean, I have a friend that I have to bring her down a notch. I mean, you think I'm bad? She's like, "Oh." I'm like, oh, bring it back, bring it back. You can't
Mm.
go living in the hills, hiding like a hermit because you're scared of what's going to happen in the world.
Right.
You're going to lose all the joy in living if you do that. You can't worry every single day about what. I mean, I'm not saying don't worry about your future. I'm saying, but you can't take it to the point where you can't live and enjoy life or worry about taking a vacation today because 5 years from now you might need that money. I mean, like
Mm.
you just can't do it. You've got to learn
Right.
to live day by day within reason and still find joy in everyday things. And turn off that TV. If your anxiety is getting to that point, turn off the damn TV. Go for a walk.
Right.
Go to the park. Take your mind out of that zone. Because I've met so many, even younger people, that they get so consumed with it that's all they think about.
Yeah.
I mean, like being terrified of it. And I can remember that being, it's like reminds me of, what is it, when the 2000, when they were worried about the computers crashing.
Oh, yeah,
Was,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
like, oh, what was it called? I can't even remember, but you know what I'm talking about.
Y2K. Y2K.
Y2K. Like, I mean, I can remember the frenzy behind that, and then when it happened, and a month later, we're like, wait, we're still here. I mean,
Yeah.
because I knew people who were like literally were stocking so much damn ramen. Oh my god! Like, really? Like, take a breath. If you can't control it, you can't control it. But I
Right.
mean,
Right.
like, oh my god! And then after Y2K was over, they're like, oh shit, we're still here. Like, yeah, you still here, and you still gonna have to pay your taxes next week. So,
Yeah. Right. Figure it out. Yeah.
so you best be taking some of that ramen back. Well, let me shut up because I get long winded, and I know I went way over my 2 minutes, baby. But I
No
missed the
worries.
last
No worries.
couple ones. So, well, I love you, sweetheart.
All right. Love you back. You take it easy. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate you.
Love you, baby. Be careful. Be safe.
All right. Thanks. You too, especially down there in Mississippi. Don't be down there having too much fun.
Girl, I've been
Right.
sitting outside listening to the damn bullfrogs. And it's like,
Don't be
what
down
the
there. Don't
hell?
be running with the old crowd. Don't get too
Girl.
familiar. Because you gotta go home at some point.
Well, I ain't going home for 2 more weeks, so
Oh, okay.
you just never know what I might be doing. Girl, we might be
Every
going
time you shut
fishing.
up.
And I ain't eating no damn frog legs. I draw a
All
line
right,
at frog legs. Hey, bye, sweetie.
all right, have a good one.
You too.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Betty. Yeah, Y2K, I remember that shit. They had people because Y2K, for those who are not familiar, too young, Y2K was when all the computer systems, because they thought that there was a computer glitch, that in the year 2000, it wasn't going to be able to, like the ones and zeros and stuff that they had put MS-DOS. They thought that the systems were all going to crash in the year 2000. So January 1st, 2000 was going to be the end of the world. Planes were going to be dropping out of the sky. The stock market was going to crash. They were going to wipe all the bank records. So people started running up their credit cards, taking out home loans, everything, because they thought that when the computers crashed, it would take the debts and stuff with it. But like Betty said, they turned around. All of a sudden, it's like, MasterCard, Visa, and Amex, they had them super protections on their stuff, and they kept them bills alive, and they wanted all their money. So yeah, it was not fun. But next up, we got Kitty. What's going on, Kitty? How you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Doing well.
Sorry, I haven't been around in the last few days. It's been kind of crazy.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna mention this right now. The little avatar that's on my thing is actually my cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cute.
So, yes. So I have a couple of points here myself.
Okay.
I found that what Kody was doing with the with all the religious things was just absolutely horrid. And him saying shit about Mary was just nah. I wasn't approve of it. I did not like it. I find that he was absolutely atrocious for what he did.
No, I agree.
And the other thing is though too is I know you have asked me to do the whole religion of Mormonism and that. It's actually better if you actually talk to who is it? Jordan McKay or even Notes to Self 444, because they know they know the Mormon stuff way more than I do. I just know the basics of it.
Yeah, well, because they have the benefit of them is that they have more specific, because there's a couple people that I wanted to talk to, because there's the broader LDS community, and then you have the more narrowed AUB community, which would be like Notes to Self and Jordan and those guys. So I do want to talk to them too, because I think I just got to figure out how I want to do it, or the best approach, because I'm an outsider.
No, definitely.
I'm an outsider, so I don't want to. At the same time, I don't mind exploring the different, and this is just for me. I don't mind exploring it, but I just want to make sure I do it in a respectful manner, because there are people who are in these faiths who are making it work. So I don't think it's fair for me to just come in this is all crazy. Who the hell?
No. And and that's why I think that's why I said Jordan McKay mostly, because yes, they were actual Mormons. They were LDS, not FDLS, but they're more likely to explain Mormonism as a whole, and then for Notes to Self 444 are more of that narrowness of the polygamy side of it.
No, that makes sense. I talked to them before. I did a show with them before.
Yeah.
Very nice people. Melanie and Corey, very nice people. Very nice people.
Definitely.
I enjoyed that show for real.
And the reason why I said Jordan McKay is because they know that Mormonism world way better than I would. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of like a student compared
Okay.
to the teachers.
Right. So you were in the building. You just were.
Yeah, I'm just a student of learning it. I'm not the like expert on the whole thing of it. But I mean,
No, I could appreciate that.
yeah, and I mean, for me, like I more likely for me, I would actually talk about the culty side of it, because I have been in a couple of cults like religions. So I'm not saying that I'm not in it, like I don't understand. I do. It's just I'm more of like in the obscure different like cultiness, and I didn't even realize I was until I left. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I
Well,
mean,
because
like,
I think that like because one of the things that I like is that I like to get different perspectives from folks. Because there are people who will understand like the because I kind of I'll break it down this way. I think that there are people who understand the public relations aspect of any faith or organization, and then there are the people who actually have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. So everybody's relationship and experience within that faith or organization might be a little different. Like for instance, I did a video when I was talking about trad wives, and there's a warning that I issued about like trad wives, and not just in the Mormon faith, but just in general. Like there's a
I know
underlying
there's a couple of
misogyny and
Christian ones,
patriarchy system. But at the same time, like some of the responses I got back, which I definitely respect, were from people who live those lives and are currently in those relationships, and for them it's working. So it's not fair for me to be like, no woman should ever be trying to stay home, just get a job and forget them kids, because that wouldn't be fair.
And I get that, and not everybody's religion is the same. Like I said, I came out of a culty religion, and it may not look like it was culty at the beginning, but once you got out, you realize real fast. It's like, oh wow, I was in a cult. I didn't realize this. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the secret to cults, though. Nobody ever know they're in a cult till you get out the cult.
Oh yeah.
You turn around and be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
that didn't make no sense.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And I think, and this happened to me during high school. Like I ended up in a culty school. I didn't end up in a cult. I ended up in a culty school, and
okay.
And I think the biggest thing that I've learned when I was in that school was I was fighting with their teachings, because I was in a multicultural school before I went. I was in a public multicultural school, and I was like, that's not right. And I tried to fix their textbook, and they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, but this is not right. I have to fix.
Yeah. Well, you can't question supreme leader. That's just
exactly.
rules.
And it's like, and so those are the 2 points that I wanted to give out real fast. Was just, with the whole situation with Kody and Mary, like I do understand why people hated Mary. I hated her at the beginning too, but then when I slowly started putting pieces together, I started realizing how incredibly indoctrinated and how incredibly what's the word I want to use, brainwashed she was.
Okay.
So I kind of understood from that point of view. You know what I mean? And I can still see that she is still kind of brainwashed a little bit, but I mean, she's starting to get out, and it's going to take a while time for her to get out. And I think her being away from Kody now is actually fixing that faster than it would have been if she stayed.
No, absolutely. I think, because I think it's twofold. Is that the first part is that she, like, first and foremost, the big broad brush is that she has to be deprogrammed. Like you have to literally be deprogrammed from the way you were trained or programmed to think. So you have to be deprogrammed. And a big bonus to that, like you said, was by removing yourself from the source. The further you get away from the source and the more time you spend away from that source of misinformation, the stronger your ability is to resist it. But as long as they keep pulling you back in and they try to keep you close, which actually speaks a lot to the fact that Kody was always keeping her close. No matter how much he said he was pushing her away, he was always pulling her in just close enough to where she would be orbiting him and she would be close enough to get that influence. So, you know, I know we all kind of come down, like I'm one of those people. I can't even be like y'all, but one of those people. I know we come down hard on the sister wives for the time it took for them to leave, even Mary and her inability to leave. But it's just, you know, giving her that grace, I recognize that she has, it's difficult. It's not a light switch. You can just, you know, okay, I'm done and I'm out.
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean, like there's
even
with. Like, even for me, there is still some of that cultiness in there for me even too. So I like, that's why I'm giving her that a little bit of a grace, because I know what it's like to be brainwashed and go, no, that, like, that person shouldn't be doing that. But then I'm like, no, that's not right. You gotta remember, this person is doing it this way, not that way.
Right.
And so, and I think my 2 minutes are up, but thank y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Kody. Appreciate you. Hopefully everything goes better.
Yeah. Me too.
Give the fur baby a hug.
Well, fur baby's not around, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, you have a good one. That cat was cute. And I'm not even a cat person. You know what I mean? My wife is. She loves cats. I'm a dog guy. She's a cat person. And that's just the way it is. But, you know, I recognize cute ass cats. I've seen some. I actually had, like, with my wife, she had a cat. And that was like the first real cat I liked. And that cat introduced me, kind of brought me into cat culture. Name was Jay. Jay was cool as shit. He was like a dog. Like, I whistle, Jay would come. If he wanted to go to the bathroom, he would like ring the, like we hung a bell on the door. He'd ring the bell, let him out. Like, I could walk around the block. Jay be right there walking with me. Like, he was a dog. He was a cat dog. So he was like my little bridge animal. So I respect the power of the cats. But I'll be right with you, Local Witch, Roller Guard or Switch. Just wanted to see this Megatron, which is awesome. My brother was a big fan of Megatron. I loved Optimus Prime and Autobots. My brother was a Decepticon guy. Megatron was his dude. That damn Transformers the movie messed my childhood up. That was traumatic. Mary, those who know, Mary has too many resources and have been out for far too long to keep using that lie as to why she still holds a torch to Kody. Okay. Respect. You been out there, girl. You need to stop playing, Willis. I get that side of it too, but it's just like I feel bad for her because, like I said, when you're that deep, you know, you don't change everything. Like, even when you change your mind about some things and you become more aware about some things, you start to alter your approach. Even when that happens, there is that point where you don't change everything. You just, well, it didn't work with Kody, but I still have my fundamental principles. And you're still holding on to a lot of the tie-ins, which would tie you back to the person that you left. So there's that. But I hear what you're saying. But next up, guys, we have Local Arts, which come into the house. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. I see you making some stuff.
Yes, I'm crocheting.
Who are you talking to?
Okay. That's cute.
No, you never mind. Okay, so I'll make it quick. I have a couple things. First, I get what it was Kitty. That was the previous caller, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. I also grew up in a culty environment. Didn't realize it until after I left. Mine was more like IBLP, Bill Gothard stuff. Totally get where Kitty's coming from. Like, I remember being exercised once. It's wild stuff. Okay. So what I wanted to mention to you is when you're reviewing Big Love, I thought it might be interesting, and maybe you were already intending on doing this, but mention when those specific storylines aired on Big Love at the time, and then when Sister Wives aired theirs. Like it would be really neat to see like an overlap because I watched Big Love years ago and I have seen around online that there's a lot of story beats in common. So I think that's a really fascinating project and I'm really excited to watch you talk about it.
Okay.
So the last live you did, I wasn't able to catch it live, but people were talking about how nobody else helped Mary with Leon's schooling.
Mm.
And I got mad because I grew up with a ton of food insecurity. And Mary would brag about if she was out of sugar or salt or whatever, she would just go down and raid the pantry like it was nothing.
Right.
That was Christine and Janelle's food. That woman and her child, through no fault of the child, I'm not blaming Leon, but they ate well all the time. They ate a much healthier diet. How dare you? And these women were so like, I can just picture the interview that they did on the couch and it makes my blood pressure, like I can feel it in my chest. Like, Mary, you should have paid for their schooling all by yourself because those women helped feed your kid when the other kids were eating moldy bread. How dare?
Mm.
How very, okay. Last thing I thought might be interesting. You mentioned talking and interviewing other people. There's a YouTube channel called Growing Up in Polygamy, and he grew up
Yes.
FLDS and with the multiple moms. And I think that would be a really cool collaboration potentially if you were interested.
Yeah. If I can, I'll definitely do it. Like I'll talk to anybody.
Oh, I
'Cause
know
I'm that
you.
guy.
Yeah, you can get along with anybody. So, and you've got a really good personality that puts people at ease. Like
Well, thank you.
the way you talk sometimes, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm like, sounds like James is out there fighting all the time.
Yeah, right. You
And I
would think
can't
that, right?
picture it.
Well, because you know what? There's certain things like
Yes.
I'm very even tempered. Like I put up with a lot of stuff, but I think for me, I can tolerate a lot of things when it's directed at me, but I have a hard time tolerating things that are directed at other people, especially people I care about or people that I care about and I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
So like it's just like if I've been in crazy, like I was actually the guy when I was in a corporate America, like I was the guy who they would always put with problematic senior people
Mm,
because I was able to talk to them or
yeah.
explain things to them and they would rage out or go crazy, do whatever they do, and I could take
Hmm.
it all in stride and we could always move forward with projects or whatever. Whereas other people, they get insulted, they, get mad or they cry or whatever the case may be. So I can take a lot, but it's just very difficult, especially when it comes to my daughter and
Oh,
things that I
yeah.
think might affect her later on.
Oh,
Because
yes.
one of the things I've been very adamant about, even before she was born, my feeling has always been that, you know, I want to make sure that when she's coming up in her developmental stages, she doesn't encounter a point where she feels like she's less than or she has to question herself or she feels like she can't say something if she sees something wrong, it's not her place or she doesn't have the right to say something because
Yeah.
of some social
Yes.
construct of gender roles or whatever the case, whatever
Yes.
foolishness is going on. I don't want her to be subject to that. So
No, that's fair.
when people
That's
do that, like when they put her in that box, I would respond very excitedly.
Yes, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Like I remember when I was starting to come up and starting to develop in certain ways, suddenly I was getting looks from, and I remember telling them like, "You're the same age as my dad." And I was saying that to
Mm,
make the man uncomfortable because I was like, okay,
right,
maybe they don't know that I'm 13, 14 years old. And it was, you ever like some people will hit on a person specifically because they're wearing a wedding band? It was like, oh, this is another level of difficulty to achieve as a notch on my
right,
belt. And then I'd be
right.
like, I'm 14, back off. And so I started wearing big baggy clothes because I just did not want to be perceived. And it's so sad as a 39-year-old woman, I'm basically invisible on the street now, which is great. I don't get whistled at, I don't get hollered at. It's fantastic. It was happening when I was underage, and it's so sad and so
Right.
gross. And I know that's not why I came to call you, but yeah, I just wanted to share about how much blood pressure spikes I had about Mary being a little salty about paying Leon's school, because it's like, woman, those I feel like those women don't owe you much of anything because they paid for everything else. Like Christine wasn't working as much, but monetarily, but what she was doing was worth way more than her any job. Like if she should have been being paid to do what she was doing.
Right.
Like in the perfect world, that her nannying job would have been paid.
Technically, in a very real sense, I 100% agree with you, because in a very real sense, if she was getting paid what child care people get paid
Mhm.
for watching 6, 7 other children that weren't hers,
Yeah.
she would have been making more money than everybody in the house.
Yeah.
She was,
Yeah,
but
because she
hands
was
down, she would have
cooking.
been making more money.
She was cooking.
Mhm.
She was homeschooling a bunch of the kids, if I remember right.
Right.
That woman probably should have been bringing in like, uh, money's hard, but like, I don't know, 100,000?
Yeah,
Like
she might bring. It might
a
have been,
lot of
if she
money.
wasn't bringing in 6 figures, it'd have been close.
Yeah,
Like for
right.
that many children, it would have been close.
Yes.
Like I say, she would have doubled, if not tripled, some of the household leaders like Kody and Janelle. She
And
might have
yeah,
doubled and
she
tripled
probably
their
should have
income.
been making what Janelle was making, and she was still like the most demoted wife. Like, and you could tell in certain ways because she still felt like she needed to coupon. She still felt like what a team player Christine
Mhm.
actually was. Like
Right.
Janelle too, really. Like I have a hard time with Mary, obviously, and I
Right.
understand it would be really hard sharing your husband. And I understand, even though I don't have that experience, so I can't understand it. But it's like, woman, how dare you let these other kids go hungry?
Right. Right. You know,
Yeah.
and I'll say this. I'll even go as far as to say this. I think that there is a point, especially because even hearkening into what you're saying, when you look at it, they came to an agreement
Yeah.
initially that they were going to do things a certain way. They were going to, unite as a family. They were going to live as one family. Everybody was going to get a part of not only Kody, but they were all supposed to share in their own, shared destinies or financial
Yeah.
situation.
Hmm.
And as it turned out, because of Mary's inability to have additional children, like it or not, she had a financial benefit because she only had one child, which is mathematically the way it works. The more kids you have, the less financial resources
Yes.
you have available.
Well, that's how
That is
she,
what it is.
I know I'm keeping you way longer than I meant to, but that's how she, like, yes, it's very sad she could not have more than one child. Like, I'm betting Leon would have loved to have had one sibling that was fully
Mhm.
their sibling, 100%, right? But Mary used her infertility as a bludgeoning tool to get exactly what the other women were getting without once looking around and being like, I have more than they do. Like, it should have been divided. Like, yes, each woman maybe gets a certain amount, but each child also has a stipend because those
Mhm.
kids have to eat. Those kids need clothes and whatnot. Like, it was so uneven. And in part, I think because Mary had the legal marriage, she could sort of threaten, like, well, I'm the one with the legal marriage and 50-50 or whatever. And then once the catfish happened, I think that's why Mary stuck around after, is that
Right.
nobody else would ever love her. She was gross or whatever it was, right? Like, I think it really killed her self-esteem in a lot of
Right.
ways.
Right.
And that's like, yes, her belief system, her belief about heaven, where she's going to go. But if he would have been real, she would have been out of there. Right. So,
yeah, bags was already packed.
yes, she
Yeah,
was.
right.
She was pretending like she wasn't gonna move. She completely gaslit all of us. James,
Right.
talking to James. Yeah. Okay, that was my son. Thank you so
Okay.
much. I kept you longer than I intended. I appreciate you and your channel, and I'm looking forward to your next episodes. I always watch your Monday morning, your Monday motivations and stuff. I just like to hear your opinion on topics, and especially like the more realistic-ish PLC shows, because like it comes from like a experience, right?
Mhm.
Like this isn't realistic, duh,
Right.
but like this is how the real people would, like, it's down to earth. And I've said this before, but you have high emotional intelligence, so it's just really nice to hear how a real thinking person with common sense would deal with the situation. So
No,
yes,
I
keep up
appreciate
the
that. I
amazing
appreciate
work.
that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. That's why I put them out. But yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. You have a good evening, everybody.
you as well.
Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Local arts with y'all. You can put your hands together. All right. We've got some open slots in the if you guys want to call in. Just real quick, like I think local artists, which brings up some really good points. Everybody actually brought up some really good points tonight. But as we start to deconstruct a lot of it, especially when it comes to like Big Love, like I said, we're going to get into it, and like she implied, she said, "Oh, I'll be interested to hear about the timeline." We will go over the timeline because Big Love came out well before. And Sister Wives as a show didn't start until 2010. It didn't air until 2010. And they certainly applied a lot of the elements, story elements, what we'll call it, story elements, also known as storylines, from Big Love into Sister Wives. And we can do a side-by-side comparison, as well as talk about how those storylines, because everything that's done, just a little inside baseball, everything that's done in a play, a story, a movie or TV show, whatever, is everything that you see or hear during that time, that hour and a half, 2 hours, is done for a reason. And it's supposed to elicit a certain response. And when we talk about those storylines from Big Love applied to Sister Wives, those things were done for a reason. And that's part of what we're going to get into when we start talking about the comparison between Sister Wives and Big Love, and how Big Love influenced Sister Wives. And dare I say, I'm giving away too much, James. You're giving away too much. Dare I say, because it was misapplied, it led to a lot of problems later on as far as the PR or public relations between Kody, Robyn, and the fan base. And we're going to get into all that. So next up, guys, we have let me just make sure, because I know I'm about to say this name wrong. Avita. Had to put it on my good screen. Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Did I get your name right before we get
You
too far into it?
did. You did.
Okay, awesome. I want to de-nice you.
I know, right?
Balake.
For real. So I don't want to keep your time. But just to go back to these last 4 episodes of the season, I haven't actually been watching the show. I did watch the last 4 because my friend actually is it HBO or it's on something like that. So I was able to watch those last 4. So I've really just been keeping up with just watching your show with what's going with what's going on. But Robyn looks depressed. Like,
yeah.
she looks pressed and depressed, and she looks really bad. And
Yeah, she looked like the bill collectors out front waiting for her ass.
Oh no, really?
Go in there and get
like,
my money.
Exactly. She looks so stressed. And this is the thing about comparison. It's very easy to be the best when you are in a cohort of others and you feel like, oh, I see what this person's doing, let me one up her here, and I see what that person's doing and I'm gonna get her in this way. But when it's just you, she has all of Kody's ire, desire, and whatever else that man has is all on her. Like, I don't think that she thought this through. And I can truly say that I think that she wanted, I think you said this, that she wanted that dynamic of sister wives, but she did not want the lifestyle. She wanted to be the favorite. But
Right.
those two things can't work together. So she really put herself in a pickle, and we're seeing it right here. Like, it really unfolded. And I just, another thing with that is Kody. He's been able to get away from this whole comparison thing. And the only reason that he is being compared in a way is due to the show. If it wasn't for the show, everyone would have their own separate experience of Kody, and there wouldn't be anything to compare it to because they were basically living different lives, you know, in different homes and whatnot. So I don't know. I just thought that that was very interesting because everyone, I mean, people want to talk bad about Mary, but Mary looks better than she did the first season. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone that got away from Kody looks better. And that says something.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think though? Like, I think that part of it is too, is that as you talk about like the stresses that are involved with dealing with a person who, when Kody started out, there was a marketable change between the way Janelle and the other OG3 talked about him. They said, oh, he was always like happy-go-lucky, and he could, I guess, maybe shuffle things off. They were always under stress, especially in the early parts of their relationship, financial stress and all that, which I understand. But when you start to get those financial advantages of having a new show, that's why they say like money won't solve all your problems. It just presents new problems or different problems. And I think that he's in a situation now where he's getting everything he ever wanted, as far as the money he wanted, the status he wanted, the fame he wanted, the woman he wanted, and the family he wanted. But none of it is making him happy, because what he really wanted was the family and life he had. But bruh, there's a difference. Like, if you get the family and life you have, but your bills are paid, then you're golden.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you wanted all that other stuff, and the other stuff comes with a different price tag.
It's different.
And you just weren't ready to pay for it.
It's different.
It's way different.
It's you're
different
completely
too.
playing a whole different ball game. You know, you can't put the same stipulations and whatever on this whole new situation. And not just that, it's not just the money. You brought this is a whole family that you brought into your family. You know?
Right.
So I don't think any of that was accounted for, and I feel like they just did it really irresponsibly. But one more point. So I called into your show, I think like not this season, but the last season. And I was on the I feel really bad for Kody train. And,
oh, really?
Oh, yes. I felt, because I'm a very empathetic person. I don't like to kick people when they're down. It was definitely closer.
I get that.
You know, it was definitely closer
that,
to when his son had died. And that was before everything had played out on the season. But after watching him that season and then this season, it's just, and then, you know, seeing everything in real life, like playing out on social media and whatnot, it's just very, it's very unfortunate. And I didn't even realize the parallel in my own life, because not that I had a similar situation that my sibling passed in that manner, but my sibling did pass, and I didn't have a relationship really with my dad. Not that it was bad, but it wasn't like great. And so when she passed, you would think that that would change everything, but nothing changed. And he continued to go on. And I was talking to my cousin who watches this show as well, and I was telling her, like, you know, we're kind of having a discussion about the show, and then I was like, oh my God, this is like my life. You know, like I was discussing it, and like I really That's how you know just the human mind is like crazy, because I really put it like at an arm's distance, but I'm like, wow, this is very similar. Oh my god, this actually happened to me. So I see where these kids are coming from. I think that you get to a point where you're like, I don't really, not that they might not even not like their dad. It's like a, I don't need you. And that's,
Mm,
unfortunately, that's what he said about him before he passed. Like, I don't
right.
need you. When you go on for so long, um and you figure, even the same thing with the wives, when you figure out that you could do it by yourself, and like this isn't a place where you're necessarily lacking outright. I mean, it might be deep down that there's some issues, but overall you're able to live your day-to-day life, you know? And
Right.
I just drew that comparison like maybe a couple weeks ago. And so I can definitely say that I understand, you know, how that feels, and it's a different kind of rejection, you know, because if that could happen to my sibling, so if I died, you know, it would be the same thing.
Yeah. You just gonna keep shuffling along? We doing that? Like, yeah, I
Exactly. It would
guess.
just be business as usual. So
Right.
it's almost like a, in respect of my sibling and the life that my sibling lived, why would I want to have a relationship with you? Like, I'm not
Right.
nothing,
Right.
let's keep it how it was, you know?
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that that's kind of where those kids are at, and I can't fault them cuz I'm kind of in the same boat, you
Mm.
know?
Well,
It
because
gets to that point.
the one thing I will say is that sometimes when like when Big G's had said, we're at a point now where I don't need my dad. And I kind of had the feeling like part of me was like, yeah, Big G's, that's right, bro. You don't need him. But then
Yeah.
the other part of me was saying it's a sad thing because clearly he wants his dad in his life, but he feels
Right.
the rejection. So he feels like I'm going to reject him
Before
because
he,
he's
yes.
rejected me. I'm
Yes.
going to take control of the situation. And that,
Right.
to me, that part is extremely difficult because like
Yeah.
you, like I kind of gave you the chagrin look when you said that you felt a little pity for Kody. If I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck, I did feel pity for him. Especially in that kind of loss, because if for those who were here, people will remember, you may remember like that during the right after the loss when they were talking about it, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really want to talk bad about
Yeah.
Kody. I wouldn't even say his name during
Yeah.
the course of the lives because I was like, I don't want to be that guy because
Right.
who am I to tell him how he should grieve the loss of his son?
Right.
And if that were to happen, God forbid, was ever to happen to me, I would, I'd be
Right.
spitting mad if somebody came to me and was like, James, you ain't doing it right. Like,
Right. Right.
so yeah, I ain't want to be that guy. But I agree with you also on this fact that in spite of everything that happened, the fact that you didn't go back and try to mend any of those bridges,
That says a
now
lot.
I'm kind of looking at you like you're a little suspect.
Right. And his wife.
Now.
And his wife. She,
Well,
the woman, that was a different kind of evil to me. That's a different, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate to
yeah.
call somebody evil, but that was, if nothing, that was your husband's child. If nothing.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I also watched Pop Psych, and he was saying, maybe it's because of the relationship that they did have. It did play out on TV, and she felt like maybe it would be weird for her to be on TV crying, but she showed no emotion. I'm like, there wasn't emotion.
yeah.
It was too,
Yeah.
it was too, to me, that shows how calculated of a person that she is. And everyone has
Mm,
said it before. She cried about the wind blowing. So
right.
if you could
Right.
decalculate yourself for that, decalculate for a child that you saw him from teenager, probably a little bit younger. You saw
Preteen.
him
Yeah. Because,
preteen. You
yeah,
saw
when they
this boy
came
with
in, they
all
were
his
young,
baby
young.
fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They were
And
young, young. Because I remember Gabe, one of my funniest memories of Gabe was that when Kody and Janelle were going out on that camping trip, Gabe was
mhm.
out front bouncing on the pogo
Uh-huh.
stick. He's like, Mom, look, no
And then
hands.
he fell. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
but Gabe and Garrison are very close in age. So Gabe
Yes.
was little. Like
Yeah.
Gabe was little. little
Yeah.
enough where he could fall off a pogo stick and not get hurt. Like he
Yeah.
was that little,
Right.
So yeah, you're right. And then like you said, if you could be a part of a child's life for that long, like I remember there was a young man, and I didn't really get along with his father, right? Me and him just didn't see eye to eye. It wasn't like, I see him in the street and someone popping, but it was just like we just didn't get along. We didn't like each other. But I heard that the guy I didn't get along with, I heard his son had some legal problems, right? And I felt bad for that young man.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't part of his life. I wasn't part of his situation. You know what I mean? But just hearing about like, oh man, he's going through some hard times.
It's
That's gonna be
humanity.
rough.
It's the
Yeah, you just
humanity in you.
feel that. Yeah,
Right.
and that's a stranger to me. You are
Right.
built different. If you can watch
Right.
a child grow up and become an adult and all the achievements that he had, regardless of how he treated you, if something bad happens and you're like, oh, bump them because they wasn't nice to me. You're built different. You are built different. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
in my culture, when I saw that man in his son's grave, digging the grave, I was like, this is like poetic justice. We need the music in the background because it was very poetic. You dug his grave, sir. You dug his
Right.
grave. You dug his grave. That broke me down. Like I was like, it was sick. It was really sick. So, anyways, I took lots of your time. I just dumped
Nah.
on you. But thank you so much for the discussion. And
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in.
of course.
Sometimes you got to clear it out. You got to.
I've been holding it in for 2 seasons, so I had to.
You got to run it.
Exactly.
Like I don't want to hold you,
But exactly. Yeah. All right. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a great night. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, awesome points. Yeah, you know what? And I'm with Avita. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I respect Pop Psych and his the channel and his opinions and stuff. I think that 99% of the time he's on point. I get where he's coming from, but bruh, like emotion is one of them things you really can't control. Like I can understand you not wanting to cry or show emotion, but if 99% of the time, like she cried through 99.9% of the appearances she had on Sister Wives. Every episode, every season of Sister Wives, with the exception of this season, she cried in every one of those episodes. Every one. No matter what, she cried when they talked about her meeting Kody. Cried when they talked about Kody coming over to spend time on the second episode of the first season. She cried. Death in the family. Yeah, well, it was what it was. Like you are built different. So, and like I said, emotions are something that you really can't control. If she's that upset, you couldn't watch episodes of Christine, Mary, and Janelle just talking. You couldn't bear to watch that on the screen. But you could talk about Big G's during a confessional. I don't know. Make it make sense. I'm just saying. But next up, y'all, we got Carmel Cuties in the house. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey James, I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. For those that don't know, Carmel Cuties is
After
one of
that
our
call,
mega
I promise
mods.
you, I'll be taking notes. So I got a piece of paper full of notes of what I wanted to say versus what the last caller said. Now you got me rethinking what I was calling for to begin with. But regarding Robyn and her crying, I agree. 1,000% I agree. She cried every damn show, every damn season until the 2 episodes she should have been full on fit, tears, ugly cry face, whole 9 yards. She wasn't. Like even to hear her cry when she announced she was pregnant with Solomon, and she's like,
Mhm.
oh, I looked around at all the teens' faces and no one was happy for me. And that's because these kids don't get their daddy as it is. They
Right.
scrubbing from pillar to post financially. And here you come with 3 more mouths, and I'm not take this like it's negative towards the kids because I love the kids. No matter my family, they family, everybody family. The kids I feel are like an innocent space because they're the
Right.
innocent party to all the madness. But I never liked how her two daughters seemed overly needy for a man's attention. And I get it. You know, they probably hadn't seen their real daddy for a while, you know, because Robyn upped and moved them from Montana to Utah or whatever the case may be. But she cried for everything. The kids cried. They always in Kody's lap and Logan or whoever male's faces. But when it counted most, Robyn was bone dry, like no tear in sight. And it screams to me fake as hell. But
Mhm.
it just I don't know, it's an eerie, irritating feeling. And especially to hear how she's like, oh, he was passenger with us all the way to Wyoming when come to find out he wasn't. What'd you have?
Right.
The freaking shovels and pitchforks and the chairs that Cody used at the doggone grave site? Because it damn sure wasn't Garrison's ashes. I'll say that. But to kind of trickle backwards a little bit and piggyback off of was her name Arts that came in, you know, with a little
Look, Art Witch. Yes.
blue thing that she had in her hand. Yeah. And she was talking about, you know, Mary basically having one child and taking resources from the other families when she was out of whatever it was. And yeah, she did brag of, you know, back in the early seasons and basically said whatever her child wants, they pretty much got because Mary only had the one. She didn't have to make her monthly budget stretch among 5, 6 other kids. And it kind of got me thinking about how, you know, it's been stated they had to eat stale bread and the kids had to wear hand-me-downs and there was just never
Mhm.
enough as a whole, let alone individual. You know, Christine said she'd have to coupon just to make ends meet for all the kids eating at her house, not just her 6. But it got me thinking, Janelle left the family for how long? A few years, I believe Maddie said on her podcast, like up to five
Yeah.
years, I believe. And when they broke down season one, that, you know, Mary pretty much worked part time and Cody and Janelle were the full time workers. Well, let's just say Janelle brought in the money because Cody, you know, what, selling signs, he never really make no money.
Right.
But Cody covered the mortgage, Cody and Janelle, and they covered like the electricity and the water bill. And Mary took on the smaller bills in the household. Christine
Mhm.
coupon to get them the food or whatever else they needed. And she worked nights as well, pregnant, after watching a boatload of kids all day long. And it got me wondering, Robyn, we're back on Robyn, of course. How do you court a man who's financially struggling, whether he showed that side to you or not? Because for them to have been real intimate with what they talked about, I'm sure he let her know financially we not all the way there yet, but we will because we got a show coming up the pipeline. We're going to be millionaires and this, that, and the third. Because you know he leaks like a sieve, so to say. But as a
Mhm.
woman, how do you come in $32,000 in debt your damn self, 3 other mouths to feed your damn self when you see this family's already struggling financially, but you still put yourself in the forefront. And not only do you put yourself in the forefront, you make sure your kids get every damn thing they're supposed to get when you see other kids not getting what it is that they need. She fulfilled her wants and her needs before any and everybody else in the family. If that
Right.
doesn't scream, and I'm about to be French, selfish bitch, I don't know what else does. And the sad
Right.
part is the OG3 sat around and allowed her to do that. To hear Cody kind of get an attitude about, well, Robyn's whole first check, she gave up her whole first check production from the show. She was supposed to, fool. If
Yeah.
everybody else
Yeah.
is giving up their checks to the family fund, was Robyn exempt? The hell? Like, she came in with more debt probably than all 3 of y'all, all 4 adults combined. And you thought she was supposed to escape and keep all her money to herself?
Well, because I would even add the fact that when she gave up her first season of checks, we also have to keep in mind that because of the way reality shows work, when you're taping the show, you're filming the show, you don't get paid.
Hmm.
You don't get paid until
No.
after the show is completed and the episodes have aired. So
Yep.
the entire time that the move from where she was, her rent at the rental place, if they were supplementing that,
Hmm.
then she moved, they paid for her move. Then they paid to set her up around a corner so she could have a private place for Kody to be able to go kick his boots up under her bed during one
Hmm.
night a week. They paid for that. They paid for her food, her clothes, and everything that she had going on. And they did that for the full time that they were filming, which would have been that first year of their marriage. The
Right.
other family members would have been picking up the slack. So yeah, you got to give up your check. What are you talking about? Like you're not. It's not like you're giving me your check because you're helping to take care of the family. You're giving me the check so we could pay the bills that we missed while we were taking care of you during that year before we started filming.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it also kind of makes me wonder because like Robin tried to say about her time with Kody and jumping in fourth night of rotation even before they were married. Well, I had to give up my job and I had my kids had to switch schools and okay, you had to give up your
Right.
job, but sweetie, you damn sure wasn't looking that hard to replace that job with another one.
I had to give up my independence.
She came through the door though, like with massive demands, but gave
Yeah, how
very
many
little.
job applications you fill out? I mean, I looked at a job application,
Right.
not the same
She might have
thing.
looked at the newspaper because, 2010, I'm sure Indeed and LinkedIn weren't pretty strong companies back then. But I don't see how the other three sat back. And I'm sure they probably griped and complained behind closed doors. But on camera, they made it seem like even if they didn't agree, it was for the betterment of the family. So they went along with it.
Right,
No, you went along
right,
with it because Cody was going to pitch a bitch fit if you didn't. And who knows how bad his wrath might have really been if you were to say no. I don't want her and them kids to come into the family. Because
right.
who knows? If they would have picked somebody else, I'm sure him getting the show was contingent on him picking a fourth wife. The fourth wife did not have to be Robin.
Right, right.
They could have
It
found
might have
a
been.
21-year-old with
Imagine if
no
they had
kids.
got somebody who was like a little more. Not even. See, here's the weird thing. Like, it's not just the kid thing. Like, I know we'll kind of pressure the kid thing because that is like I know we don't want to say that it's bad for the children or downplay the children, but the reality of it is that the kids in and of themselves are a financial burden.
Right.
No matter how you cut it, it is what it is. And you're coming in with that. With that aside, I think that compassion plays a part. Let me ask you a question because we talked about like the older kids having to make sacrifices in order for the family to exist. Like there's things that you just grow accustomed to not asking for, not expecting because the family just doesn't have it. But then
Right.
you find yourself in a situation where now all of a sudden you do have it, right? My
Hmm.
thing is, instead of you just saying, okay, well, I didn't have it when my older kids were younger, so bump them. They just, it is what it is. And I'm only going to give this good life to my younger kids because they can experience all of it. It seems to me that it would behoove you to say, you know, if you were there with me, and this is a big thing for me, I don't know most folks. If you were there for me when I was struggling and I didn't have, I would feel more compelled to try to share things with you as I get things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if my kids, if I couldn't give my kids vacations or I couldn't take my kids places they never been outside the neighborhood or the block or whatever, and I find myself in a situation where now I have the money to take them around the world. I don't care how old they are. You never been to Puerto Rico? Get your bag, let's go. Never been to the
Right.
Bahamas or Hawaii? Get your bag, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
I didn't see that other side of it when it came to the other kids. It was just kind of you guys get what you get. Don't get upset because we have to take care of these young ones.
Right.
You know,
It,
you
I mean,
understand what I
even
mean?
to add to that, I'm the same way. Like my daughter tells me all the time, like, Mom, I've been in daycare my whole life. Since, the time she could 6 months and up, she's been in either daycare or babysitter or whatever else. Whereas my kids are 6 years apart. So by the time my son got of daycare age, I was now working a job that I didn't have to work nights and weekends. I didn't have to work
Mm,
holidays. Like I was off by 3 o'clock. I could take time off to go on field trips and everything else. And she'd be like, I noticed now that when I was younger, you always had to work, but I would send somebody else in my place. So like if it was a
right.
play or a holiday parade or like Halloween, I couldn't show up, but I'd send my god sister, I'd send an aunt or an uncle or a cousin in my place. So somebody was there to represent my
Right.
child.
Right.
Whereas for my son, it would be physically me. It
Mm,
didn't change the fact that I loved one more or the other, but as my kids got older and the financial means got easier, hell, we
yeah,
all,
your
like you said,
situation
we
changed. Right.
shoot during COVID, we took a trip to the cruise to the Bahamas. I didn't leave one
Okay.
out just
Right.
because younger years we wanted to go and I couldn't afford it. When I do for my kids before I do for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I go without so that they have. And it
Mm,
sucks when parents, and I have friends that are like this and they think of themselves before they think of their kids. And I sit back and wonder, like, that's going to be a lonely life when you get in your 70s and 80s and they stick your ass in the nursing home and don't come visit because you didn't take care of them when they were younger. And not just
yeah.
the materialistic things, the emotional things. Like,
Right.
Kody
Right.
never made himself emotionally available to all his kids, other than Robyn's five, right? Because whenever they
Mm,
went looking for him, sadly, that's where he always was. So I
right.
shouldn't have to go find my daddy on my mom's night when he's supposed to be here with us. Or
Well, you
even
know
one
what?
time, it didn't make sense. Like one time that when they were showing him like washing the dishes after dinner at Robyn's house when they first moved to Vegas, and she lived right down the street from Christine, and of course Peyton was there hanging out with Dayton. But when it became time for dinner, Robyn told Kody like, "Hey, tell your son he's time for him to go home."
Right.
Peyton ain't a part of the family. He couldn't sit at the table and eat along with you and your kids. You take time away from his mom when it's her night. He couldn't sit there another hour and eat with you and your kids. Like that bothered me to see that.
Well, and plus, you all supposed to be one big happy family,
Exactly.
and I think that there also is a point too where, like, because something you just said struck me a little bit, and it was a point where you said that tonight was supposed to be my mom's night. You're supposed to be down at my mom's house, but I think that to put a little more clarification on that too, and this is something that I never really thought about before, but in that situation, it's not just, Christine's night. That's Christine's kids' night. That's
Exactly.
Janelle's kids' night. So it's not that I just went over there and just hung out with one of the wives, because that's actually how they sell it on the show. This is
Hmm.
Janelle's night. So he'll go over to Janelle's house. I think both Christine and Janelle admitted that he would leave, like if it was their night, he would leave at like 6 in the morning, go over to Robyn's house because
Yep.
that's where he worked from. And then he would
Yep.
come back to whoever's house he's staying at around
At
anywhere
dinner.
between
Yep.
6 and 8. Like,
Yep.
but you're missing out on valuable time with your kids, and your kids see that. And like you said, just like the wives know that you over there at Robyn's house in the cul-de-sac, even though you have your car in the garage and the door pulled down, the kids know where the hell you are. And if
Exactly.
the wives know, the kids know, and if the kids know, they recognize the fact that my dad don't want to come home and spend time with me. They don't just see it as, oh, he don't like my mom, he ain't in love with my mom. My
But
dad don't want to
his
spend time with me because I'm here.
Aspen is now grown, pregnant with her
Mm,
first child, and married. And she just recently asked this man, "Why don't you like?"
right,
That said a lot. That said a lot. Like your children should never have to ask, "I don't even think my mom or my dad like me." It's ridiculous. Like I say it
right.
all the time, I don't know any religion where you're blessed to dog out your family, to dog out your children. These are your flesh and blood, and you treat them like shit and
Mm,
expect them to respect you, to bow down to you, to honor you, and to put you first. Please, wouldn't be me. I would be that child every time he opened his mouth. I'd have something to say.
right.
The production would want me sitting on the couch because I'm gonna spill all the damn secrets. My daddy a damn lie. He didn't do that. He didn't say this, and that. Trust me. People magazine would pay every week to just call me up and be like, well, we saw the show this week. Yeah, my dad's full of shit. He didn't mean that. He didn't say that. He didn't even come around.
Like, if you've seen him, I haven't seen him in months. Like,
Right. No, ma'am. Yeah, I watch the show, and every time I watch, he calls me up afterwards, wanting me to sign an NDA, and I tell him every week I ain't doing that. I'm gonna talk
yeah,
again.
right.
But
Kiss my ass.
it's
Unless you cut the
right.
check at that Indian. But you gotta pay me to
Entire
match that
ass from
money.
one side to the other. Like
Right?
it is ridiculous. I hate to say it,
Yeah,
and
you
I
gotta match
don't
that
see
TMC
how
money.
either one of them sleep well at night. And I say it all the time. Kody is the blame. He is, but Robyn is the catalyst to some of that blame as well. She's not completely innocent in the situation. And the whole, square in the snow. Do you love your kids? Don't you want to be around your kids? I thought so. Full on baloney because you play a part in why he doesn't have a relationship with his kids.
Mm.
You also play a major part in why some of these kids don't have a relationship with their siblings, meaning her children. And that to me is just irrehensible, no matter how you look at it. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. Personally, I'm over it, but I'm stuck on the sister wives bandwagon as
Yeah,
well because
yeah.
I kind of want to see how it
Slippery loop.
ends.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to
Well,
see how it ends, but ain't
is
no
that
way.
Carl?
I can't. I couldn't see him out in public and not say nothing because I would be that
Right.
one fan that everybody would be TikToking about because I'd be cussing him the hell out in the airport. You sorry sack of tut 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 because it don't
Right.
make sense. Somebody need to tell him because obviously him reading the comments ain't enough. Somebody needs to
Like,
tell him to his face that he ain't shit.
we gotta put a face to the comment.
Definitely.
You gonna be that you'll be that joke like oh man, I read these comments. I wish they would say it to my face. And here you come, like
Yep. It would be my face right next to his ear. Like, oh, you want me to tell it to your face? Here you go.
yeah, right. Be
It
careful
just,
what you wish for, because it might come
oh,
true.
right. Let me be at the airport one day and Kody come walking up. Oh, boy. I wish I lived closer to Utah or Arizona because I'd go looking for him. But
Catch
yeah,
him at the
that's
spot.
just that's just where I'm at tonight. But I won't hold you because I can keep going all night regarding this.
No, no, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
All righty. I'll see you in the comments.
All right, have a good one. Awesome. Caramel cuties, ladies and gentlemen. Throw some hearts up in the chat. One of the mega mods dropping them bombs on us. Like, don't let me catch your ass slipping, Kody. You know what? Because one of the crazy things, and I'm wrap this up pretty soon, but one of the crazy things about this whole situation, like I said, as much as we watch uh the Brown family and as tired as we are of them, like I think that they actually provide a service. Because just when you think that, this monogamy thing or this relationship stuff is for the birds, you look at this dude like, could be way worse. Could be way worse. And even like I know there's something that all the content creators at some point have said, and let me just say, as part of the main contingent of the YouTube commenters, like when people say every man's wish is to have multiple wives, the devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. Look, ain't nobody trying to do that. You see these gray hairs I got on my chinny chin chin? I ain't trying to go gray and bald at the same time. Cause it's to have that many personalities to deal with, not to mention if you're actually a person, and I think that one of the major components for you to be able to participate in any type of poly or alternative lifestyle to that degree where you're adding multiple people. I think that one of the key components is that you have to have a healthy sense of empathy and sympathy. You have to have a certain level of compassion and compromise built into who you are. And none of that is in line with the fact that you get to greedily have more than one wife. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't think that, because I would spend more time worried about how everybody is doing, if everybody is secure, if everybody is is comfortable? Is there any issues? What's going on? Because a lot of that stuff you have to be able to handle right when it pops off. You got to nip that in the bud. So there's a constant maintenance that's required. Like that shit is a lot of work. And the reason why I take the position that most guys, or maybe guys I know, maybe it's a small contingent, I don't know, but most guys that I'm familiar with are not prepared, because you have to have a certain level of emotional intelligence. You have to have a certain level of maturity. You have to have the ability to not only be in touch with your emotions, but understand what's going on with you. But you have to understand what's going on with your multiple partners, where they are in their situations. Not only that, you have to understand their backgrounds, what makes them who they are, and how they deal with situations, and how that past or those past traumas may influence their the way that they perceive certain situations. Like, this shit is a lot of work. This is way too look. I'm in relationships. I am my relationship because it's my pleasure. I enjoy it, right? I'm not trying to work myself to death to keep 4-5 people happy. Like, that's why I'm not a real, like, that's why I couldn't go out and have like multiple like cheating ass relationships where I'm trying to keep everybody happy. There's too many balls in the air for me. Like, I like my life a little more, maybe sedentary isn't the right word, but I like it to be more even, more consistent. Like, that's crazy to me. Because you'll go from one wife's house, you have a fire over here, you go over there, put the fire out, and you go over to the other wife thinking you good because you just got finished fighting a fire. You got a whole explosion happening in this house because the daughter don't want to listen to the mama, and you trying to explain to your daughter why she should listen to the mama, and then the mom coming down, you need to come around more. Oh, okay, well, I gotta go over to the other wife's house. I'll be back. You go over there, be a whole nother problem. The son don't want to listen. He want to buck up because he getting taller, he can't get chopped in the throat. Now all of a sudden, that's a whole damn problem. Like, it's just too damn much. And then you spend so much time out trying to maintenance these relationships that you don't have any time to work on yourself, which is part of it too. Like, in any relationship, you have to be able to carve out time to where you're able to work on yourself and focus on yourself so that you can start to develop and cultivate an environment where you can get the best version of you so that you can be that person, show up for your people as that person, the best version of you. And I don't see how that's possible when you're dealing with like 5 or 6 different households. That maybe I just don't have the skill for. I don't know, but I want to put that to break, because I've heard people say that before. Every man be dreaming about having 4 or 5 wives. No, we don't. Not ones with sense. If you're making D decisions, I've said that before, not to be too vulgar, but if you're making dumb decisions, then we'll call it dumb decisions. The D could be something else. But dumb decisions, if you're making dumbass decisions, then yeah, that sounds like a plan. Go out, be 20 years old, start marry 3 women and pump kids into all of them and hope for the best. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. But if you have any life goals, ambitions, or things you want to achieve, starting 3 whole families is crazy. It's crazy, but to each his own, let me go through some of these super chats. Hey, Teresa Skinner in the house. What's going on? What's happening? Teresa Skinner in the house. We talking about you earlier, Teresa. Somebody, you just missed Betty. She was talking about you. She says hello. But we have super chats. We have a super chat from Kate, $4.99. What's super chat? Yes, please do Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but please also rewatch Sister Wives and Big Love. I know it's exhausting, but we appreciate your take. Thank you so much, Kate. And yeah, I'm to give the results from the poll. All right, so as it turns out, we talking about neck and neck tight, y'all. Should I review Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? 52% of you said yes. So there's a majority. However, 48% of you said no. So we are going to do I don't think the way I'm going to do it, because it could be a little painful to do like episode by episode, but I think we'll do it in chunks, if anything, or more specifically, I think the way I want to do it, target it, is I'm going to pull issues that I think are relevant or more to the point, not the place or whatever, but there's some things I don't really feel like it's my lane to comment on. So I might leave some of those things alone, but the other stuff for sure. So we can definitely get into it. And yeah, I'm definitely going to do a comparison of Big Love and Sister Wives. So stay tuned for that. Let me give you a little something. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, let me hook you up. All right, and we had another one from the lovely Lizzie B. Gifted One My Take on Reality membership. Yes, thank you so much. Make sure you guys check out the Monday Motivations. You know, at some point, I do want to have a members, like a little members gathering. We'll have a members live. So we will be doing that. I'm going to roll that out in July. So that should be fun. Another perk. Throw another perk on there. I got to get some more emojis up. We're going to have some fun with the member stuff. But thank you so much, Lizzie B. Let me get a little something. Lizzie B in the house. All right. And yeah, there was a couple things I wanted to respond to, and then we can take off. This is no to Mormon wives. Do not give them any money. You know, and one of that things that kind of made me hesitant about it, if I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck, it does feel like when I was a kid, I guess I was part of that first generation, right? Generation X, part of that first generation where they actually ran before they had cartoons or shows or whatever, and then they may have built toys to sell to kids after that. I'm part of that first generation when they came out with toys, then they constructed a storyline to sell those toys. And so it all became just like basically the TV shows or cartoons that they used to run were merely a half-hour long cartoon or a half-hour long commercial for the toys they were trying to sell. And that's how you know, Batman, Superman wearing different clothes, or, you know, G.I. Joe or Transformers or whoever, you know, different outfits or whatever, or, you know, they made some paint change and all of a sudden they sell a new line of toys. So I'm used to that. And what I see with Mormon wives, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, there are issues that we can talk about, but the show itself, I think, is a commercial for the top, damn, I can't remember the name of it. Mom Talk. That, like, the whole show is just basically a commercial for Mom Talk. That's why every time they turn around, they say Mom Talk at least every third or fourth sentence. They say it. They say the name of it because they want you to go to it and look at it. And the more views they get, the more subscribers they get. Obviously, the more money they get, the more open they are to brand deals. They're even talking about the brand deals and the financial advantages of being in Mom Talk on the show. I'm about to call it Mom Talk, but on the show of Secret Wives, this is Mormon Wives. So I think that that's a issue. I appreciate maybe they're trying their best to bring some of their issues and concerns with the church to light using this avenue of the show, but it comes off a little clunky, in fairness. So I understand why people aren't excited about it, for sure. Okay, Teresa's on vacay. What's up, Teresa? Dang, go, Teresa. She living her best life. I'm living my best life. Oh, 1 second, guys. We had Kate, member for 4 months. Yes, for the member live. All right. Very excited about it. Yeah. So it should be fun. Have a open dialogue. I'll bring up as many people as I can. We have like a little quorum group or whatever. Should be fun. Open discussion. Should be fun. Doom, doom, doom. We have Jody Pierce Scala, the $4.99 super chat. What kind of person would love someone who has bashed exes and treated his kids this way? Should he really raise the tenders? That, you know what? And that is one of the things. This show that I was talking about earlier, Family or Fiance, it's airing on Discovery, which should be Discovery Plus, Max, TLC, anything that has TLC on it, you should be able to find it. But that first episode I was watching, that very comment or that very thing comes up because the guy has kids, and he kind of pulled a Kody where he had 2 kids. He was married 3 times. He had 2 kids, natural children, bio children, with his first wife. Then they broke up. He met another woman who had children in a different state. He moved to go be with that woman on his daughter's. He moved to be with that woman, married her, and was taking care of that family. Then when that family broke up, he went to another state and married a different woman who had kids. And the whole time he was taking care of those other children better than he was taking care of his natural children. I won't say that there's a real distinction, but there's kind of a distinction. But I respect people who have who are bonus parents and they treat the bonus children like their kid. There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud that. But at the same time, you can't take care of some of your kids and you completely ignore other kids and then consider yourself a good parent. And if you are in that situation, you should always be careful of somebody who has that capacity. Like if he can turn his back on his kids, then you know he can turn his back on your kids. So I think that that's always something to be concerned about. So yeah, even with like Kody, like the fact that it's so easy for him to turn his back on the OG3 and their kids and talk shit about them the way he does, that should be concerning to Robyn, because that just lets you know what she's made of. And it should also be concerning to Kody, because you saw what Robyn did to her ex. She ran him in the ground. Then when they were divorced, she went back and stripped him of his rights and used the child support and stuff to blackmail him into giving up his rights. Something to think about, Costa. Just saying. But thank you so much, Jody. Give you a little something. Hey, Jody. Then next up, we got Erica MF. Better watch your mouth, MF. Sorry, Erica. I couldn't help myself. $2 super chat. Also, My 5 Wives. Yeah, I used to like My 5 Wives. I thought Brady was actually pretty good. He was a better example. I think that, and I'm not a big jump on the bandwagon. Everybody should try polygamy. But for a polygamous family, I think Brady was a better example of somebody who is living a more healthier version of polygamy. Like he had clearly he had his own struggles with it, and his wives struggled because of their insecurities, their jealousies, and things of that nature. But when he talked, I generally had the impression that Brady genuinely cared about his wives and his kids. Like it wasn't a thing where he was using them because it was an advantage thing, or he was trying to get on TV, or he had a favorite one and he was trying to get rid of the other ones. I think he genuinely loved all his wives, and their relationships, although unique and different, it wasn't. At least for me, I didn't perceive that he felt like one relationship was way more important than the other relationships. There might be times he likes one more than the other. That's just natural. Like you could have friends where you have 4 or 5 friends, and depending on what year it is, month it is, day of the week it is, You may like one friend more than you like the other friends, but it's subject to change depending on, like I said, time, events, whatever. That's fair. But again, I don't think he had a clear, I'm going, ghost my other wives and their kids to go hang out with this one because she's my favorite. Like, I didn't get that impression from him. But My Five Wives was a good show. But yeah, thank you for the suggestion, Erica. I think maybe I will go back and take a look at that and update some of my thoughts, because I don't think I ever really, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I ever really commented on that show. So yeah, thank you for the idea. That's a good idea. And then we had Cavi Ferran. What? Cavi OG, triple OG with the $2 super chat. Moon needs to make Thunder Coochie panties. She needs to start marketing them. That needs to be her brand. It's like Thundercats. She got the Thundercat draws. Thundercats. Hose. That'd be her battle cry. Then she get her ass suit off. It'd be incredible. It'd be incredible. And she would, like, are they lino panties? No, these are chitaras. These are cheetahs. Because I was the other woman. Oops. Because let's keep it a buck. When you in a church, or anywhere, I don't care if you're in the church or the supermarket, standing there waiting for your deli meat. If you there and you hard staring a married person in the face, you got to check yourself. I don't care how fine they are. You got to step over to the side and be like, self, we need to get our shit together. You know what I mean? Like, because that's basically what their love story, as they describe it, that's essentially what happened. She was staring in a married man's face. Then she get up in court. In the book, we'll get into that during my video. But in the book, they even talk about how she got up and, she was shaking that stank in front of him, to walk by him and all that kind of stuff. Like, you flirting that heavy with a man who's clearly older than you. You've been married. And you're thinking to yourself in a church full of polygamists that this dude doesn't have a family. You know full well he's got a damn family. You know he got a family. The only question is, how many wives do we have and how many kids do we have? Like, it's not, come on. So you knew what you were doing. And then Kody, you standing there staring this woman in the face. Oh, I didn't know if she was married. I asked her who her husband was. But you doing all that heavy flirting and all that heavy staring. That begs the question, how many other men in that church, wives, has Kody stared at? Has Kody been trying to make that connection with when he's standing there in the church and trying to be Mr. Funny Man? How many of them wives, them men's wives, because you was mighty damn comfortable, even in your description, that you thought this woman was married to somebody else, but you was still staring in her face, trying to look up the back of her pants so you could see what she had for breakfast? You thought that shit was cool? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, you, bro, you in the danger zone. Like, that shit is dangerous. Like I said, I'm not a young guy. The folks now are way more understanding when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I remember hearing stories like, people understand stuff now. Like, oh, she was seeing somebody else, just gotta move on. I guess I'm like that too now. But back in the day, there's some people, boy, they catch you. If she get up in the church and she start walk by with the Thundercat, right? Shaking the Thundercat, and you looking at the Thundercat symbol, your eyes fixated, crazy, and her husband had come up behind your ass, looking at, watching you, watching her, you might have a whole damn problem on your hands, son. Like, I'm not the one. Like, I don't get mad at stuff like that. I don't flip and I don't trip. But there are dudes, I know dudes who will not tolerate that shit. What you looking at? Because you better look. What you looking at? And it might not even be a conversation. They turn that mother out like MC Hammer. Turn that mother out. So like, Kody was living in a danger zone. And then the fact that she was young. She was too young. So clearly you didn't mind looking at young girls. I mean, him and them damn young Thundercats. Get your ass out of here, boy. So you was in church doing that. That's what you do. And he sit up there. She described. I was reading a book earlier today because I was, like I said, I was preparing for the night. Decided to do the video, but I was reading a book earlier. She was talking about like, oh yeah, Kody was standing there laughing with a bunch of the older guys. Him and the other guys were standing around laughing, and that kind of made me get that skeevy feel. Like, what were these old guys standing around laughing at? Is this what they do? Like the old guys, like checking out the young biddies in the church, and they sit there and giggle to themselves, like they in high school or something. Look at that one over there. Like, you 50. Stop that shit. Get your life together, son. And you in church. Now I'm a big fan. Look, if I say the Lord is everywhere. So if you curse it, whatever you doing out here, it don't matter, because doing it in church is really no difference if we're gonna be honest about it. But have some respect. You know what I mean? Like I might be cutting up and messing up, but I'm not gonna do it in the Lord's house. That shit's just disrespectful. I don't care if you just got out the club. You don't go into church with that same energy. It's just weird. At least for me. I don't know how people roll. Maybe the A will be different. Like, we don't go to the club, but we get it popping in the services. Be passing out the wine, be throwing out, like, get them crackers popping. Like, girl, I'm gonna go over here and get some of this wine. We'll get some of them crackers. You want anything? While I'm up? Ain't no way, son. No way. But yeah, thank you so much, Kathy. I'll give you a little something, Kathy. Kathy be up in here. And be careful, because Kathy will drop some French. She is bilingual. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. Kathy is bilingual. Kathy will say some things. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I just, we won't get into that. But make sure you're subscribed, because when I start dropping some of these videos, and they'll come out a little faster. But they should be coming out a little faster. Hopefully you guys like I'm trying to change the content around, not the content, the format around a little bit in some of the videos. Hopefully you guys dig that. But trying to do something a little different so I can get more of them out, get more content out. But yeah, man, well, I'm telling you, we're gonna have to talk about, because I got some things that I want to talk about with regard to this whole thing. Like I said, the whole way they met, we gonna have to peel this like an onion. An onion. It might be hopefully it won't be a French onion. You know what I mean? Like that French onion dip soup. But yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it done. But big shout out to Tracy's Fractured History and More, $1.99 super chat. Love you, James. Love you back, Tracy. And don't let nobody tell you different. Thank you so much. Give you a little something. Yeah, but I tell you what. Yeah, we're gonna get it popping. We're gonna get it popping. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I want to make sure I thank everybody who called in. You guys, very interesting conversation. I know tonight was a little loosey goosey. Next week I'll have a little more structure to it. Promise, I promise. But tonight was fun. Like, I like talking to you guys. You guys are fun. I have a great time. Like, I have a great time, because I like getting different perspectives, because you guys bring in things that if I haven't thought of it before, I get a perspective where it encourages me to think of something a different way, or from a different perspective, or maybe even dig a little deeper into some things that I never thought about before. Like, even when I was, like, as an example, when I was talking to Carmel Kody, one of the precepts of the show is that every wife gets their own night. But the reality of it is that, you know, as we talk about it and we really get into it, it's not that each wife gets their own night. Their family gets their time with Kody. So if he's not spending time with Janelle, it's not that he's just not spending time with Janelle. He's not spending time with Janelle's kids. When he's not spending time or he's trying to ignore or punish Christine because he didn't like something she did, so he doesn't go over to her house, he punishing Christine's kids. And I think that that's something that, like, I haven't really addressed. I might have talked about it in a blanket statement, but I don't think I ever really drilled down on it in that fashion, like broke it down to that point. And I think that that's an important distinction, that when he did a lot of this stuff, it wasn't just things that he did against the wives, but this is stuff that affected the children. As Betty had said, you know, the stone in the pond, like the ripple effect. It's not like it affects, his actions affected so many other people in such a negative way. And he has to take accountability to it. That's one of the videos I had last week. Kody just has to be responsible for his part of it. Like, I know he wants to blame the wives and talk about all the shit they did wrong, but bro, you got enough on your plate. I don't know why you worried about what they got to deal with or what's on their plate, because you have enough on your plate to deal with. And get your plate cleaned up before you worry about what somebody else is eating. But that's my take, guys. Thank you so much. Before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to the mega mods up in the house. We got Lizzie B, the OG, triple OG. We got Caramel Cuties. We got Brittany, not Brittany, up in chat, taking care of business, holding it down. I want to make sure I thank everybody in the chat for keeping everything super cool, super chill, and a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys being patient with a player. Let me get through some of the stuff I wanted to get through. Like I said, you guys have a way about you. Make it fun and easy for me to talk to you. But yeah, we're going to do some, hopefully we'll do some interesting stuff this week. Make sure you keep an eye out for the Monday motivation. I got to stop saying Monday morning motivation, because if I put it out too early, it won't. It'll get lost in the sauce. But the Monday motivation videos for the members and folks, and we're going to run that. I got to just plan out when we can do the members live, as well as make sure you check out the videos that we have coming up. It's very exciting stuff. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with a player. Before we go, let me get some, just make sure I say thank you to everybody. To Betty Aldridge, Lizzie B for donating memberships. What? Kate, got Jody, Pierce Scala, just gotta make sure I get it right. Erica MF, Kathy Ferran, Tracy's Fractured History, and more. And I feel like I'm missing some folks, but thank you guys so much for the super chats. Thank you guys for hanging out with a player. Appreciate you. You guys have a fantastic evening. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Have a fantastic Monday morning. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. That's my take. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, piece, yeah.